Would you like to title your stream Pistachio Day? No. I want it to be... Okay, it should be live on YouTube. There it goes. I see it in my own chat. There you are. Now we're live on YouTube. Hey, YouTube. I am live. Welcome. Kathy, good luck with your drive. Drive safe today, okay? I hope you have a good one. Oh my God, Nick, you're so creative. Y'all, follow Joystick Nick, please. Nick is a friend of the stream, fellow Philadelphia homie. Homie? Why did I even say that? That is not a word that I use in my life, ever. Anyway, except now. But Joystick Nick is a friend and variety creative, very creative streamer, very creative, like, human in general. I always see people doing cool things on on OBS and StreamerBot, just in general, and like I'm always impressed. I'm generally in awe and always impressed, and I'm like, how do you do it? How do you do that thing that you just did? Who knows? Congrats on your job. I know we were talking about this before, and you said you had some good interviews, good feedback. Amazing. Congratulations. Twinderella says, we don't do April Fools in my house because I find it annoying, but the twins crack up. Yeah, I'm just not I don't like jokes. I'm not like, I'm too serious. I'm too serious for those kinds of jokes. Shaving cream, my dad's taps in the wee dark hours of the morning. Yeah. A little prank, like a prank here and there. Title, my chat tries to flirt with me poorly. Chat tries to flirt with the bot and gets lukewarm responses. The West Coast is contagious? I bet. It's also earlier in the day there, and probably sunnier. Hubert Chicago on YouTube, welcome in. Good afternoon. Or good day. I should say good day, because good afternoon implies that we're in the same time zone, which, you know, we might not be. So, welcome. Nick says, I'm a gremlin with untreated ADHD and access to art supplies. The best kind. The best kind, though. That's the, like, inspired sort of, like, I'm going down this hole for 6 hours, see you on the other side, and when we're on the other side, we're going to have this fun new toy. Like a little, what was that thing that you made a while ago that I was like, you spent like a long ass time on it. It was the Sonic the Hedgehog like thing with the run by, and I was like, I just remember you were tweeting about it, and I was like, you were posting about it. Might have been on Twitter at that point. Anyway, R.I.P. But I just remember being like, man, this person's just like sunk so much time into this, and then like the end of the thing, I was like, oh, that's really cool. So it is appreciated, at least, hopefully by at least some of the folks who are in chat for you and me. Oh God, the twins teacher trolled the class and told them they had book reports due and they weren't actually due. Terrifying. As a kid, you'd just be like, nah, I'm out. Calvin would probably be like, you never assigned this to us. He'd be so serious about it. Oh God. These art supplies are wood stain, wood filler, and polyurethane. That's a very specific art indulgence. I have a lot more that I want to rebuild. Nick says, yes, I get it. I was just complaining the other day that I haven't really had a lot of time invested in the back end of the stream recently, and how I was sort of feeling the yen to do that, because there's a lot that I just want to add that people have mentioned throughout the past couple months that I haven't actually added, that it would be nice to have, and also just some general like stuff, right? Listen, it took me 2 years to figure out how to multi-stream. But now that I have it set up, someone can come in the chat and be like, how come you're not streaming on YouTube? And I can be like, oh, right, whoops. And then I can just turn it on. And So when I do stuff, I do like to do it completely and zip it or button it up all the way so that it's like production ready to go. I have a problem with being production ready as opposed to just send it. I don't like to just send it. I don't like risk. I'm very risk averse as far as that type of stuff goes. So, I feel you. Gonna get to it soon. Soon. Fudge darling, that's not gonna work either. But I appreciate your efforts. Liz, I hope your work meeting goes well. And I hope you come out of it with 0 additional responsibilities. Lemon says, I like the iterative send it method because even if I get to production ready, things break anyway. This is true. I tend to like work on it for a long time, and then I'll like have it on stream without saying anything about it, and I'll use it like once or something like that, and then I'll just like, if it works, great, and then if not, I will quietly just like roll it back. So sometimes I'll have stuff that I'll be working on that I just won't say at all. It'll just be like a new thing. Okay, roasted chicken. I want to roast mushrooms, potatoes. I'm going to do the smashed potatoes. So I need to boil, smash, not grill, sear. Roasted mushrooms, I just need to roast. That's super easy. Roasted chicken, we'll spatchcock that. We'll how do I want to season the chicken? I think I would just want to season the chicken very simply. Pepper, salt, pepper, a bit of butter, and I think that's it, because I don't want to do like a big flavor chicken. I really love I love chicken with paprika sort of sauce on it, more of like a spicy scenario. I also love like garlic chicken, but I think I just want to keep it as simple as possible today. That was the goal. Fudge Charlie says, words that really are flirting, I did the dishes. Yeah. Or like, hey, I noticed that you were having trouble with this thing. How about I help you out with that in this other way? The best. Fudge Charlie, you get it. Shrooms indeed. Broccoli. We love shrooms. I got the cremini shrooms today. I felt bad because they had a bunch of different other mushrooms at the market, but I was like, I just want to be super simple today. I'm not going to experiment. We're just going to do whole roasted cremini mushrooms because they're easy. Tundrell, your friend will believe you when you're logged in and like ready to race. Next time you message them, just be like, let's go. Start your engines. Start your engines, bitches. DJ Harley, welcome in. Good to have you. Tatsu, welcome. Hello. Hello. Potatoes and then the spinach. I'm just going to do in the same pan that I did the potatoes in. I'm just going to saute the spinach, like salt, pepper, olive oil. Easy. And then we're going to make some focaccia. I need to get the focaccia recipe out. I want to get some butter out because I want to put some butter on the outside of the chicken. Basically, with the chicken, we're going to take salt, pepper, and butter and kind of like smear it all over so that the skin gets crispy. We're going to heat it in the oven, I think right around 400 degrees or so for maybe like an hour. And that's going to be That's going to be the main part of dinner. Okay, oven is on, oven is empty. Important point. I need to find my focaccia recipe before I do anything else so that I know that I've got it. And you could Google it by searching the words best, easiest focaccia, best, easiest focaccia, and it will be the #1 unpaid, unsponsored result that comes up. But I can't Google my stack of recipes here. So I am literally going to look through my stack of recipes, things that I've made and loved before. Lentil and tuna bolognese. This one was a good one. Sunflower carrot risotto with pea shoots. That was also a favorite. Basic corn chowder, favorite. Aha, here it is. The best, easiest focaccia bread recipe. The reason this one's up front is because I have a lot of my favorites at the top of the stack. And we'll put this cantaloupe ice cream recipe at the back because it is a dessert. And desserts go in the back of the pile. I have zero organizational method for any of these recipes. These are just everything I've printed out in the past couple of years, all together with a binder clip that is too small. That is too small. So this is just like I need a better way to do this. Or a larger binder clip. Yeah, this is literally not even good. Okay, it's not going to work anymore. We'll just put these back in the pile over here and hope they don't blow away into the ether. All right, where'd that recipe go that I just put out? Here it is. See if there's anything like wild about this. Cold refrigerated dough is the secret to making delicious focaccia. Allow the dough to rest 18 to 24 hours in the fridge. Will yield extra pillowy and airy focaccia. The 4-ingredient recipe requires 5 minutes of hands-on time. Video guidance below. A few notes. Plan ahead. You could make this more quickly. It turns out especially well if you mix the dough the day before you plan on baking it. The second rise too takes 2 to 4 hours. If you're short on time or not. Interestingly enough, I just looked this up recently. When I looked this up, it said 24 to 48 hours. This recipe is old enough that it is no longer, or not no longer. This recipe I printed out long enough that they hadn't added the 24-hour note on here. So we're gonna I'm gonna go and I'm gonna Google this real quick because I definitely saw this last night. Best, easiest focaccia. Yep, there it is. #1. Updated March 19th. Okay. Allowing the dough to rest 18 to 48 hours in the fridge will yield extra pillowy and airy focaccia. Original recipe that I have here says allowing the dough to rest 18 to 24 hours in the fridge. So in the recipe update, it gave us a whole extra day, which is fantastic. So we're going to make this 24 hours ahead. There is a poll in chat on what historical figure favorite dish should I make with the extra chicken. We have President Wilson's chicken salad, Napoleon's chicken meringue, President Lincoln's chicken fricassee, President Clinton's chicken enchiladas, President Roosevelt's country fried chicken. I'm just giggling at President Clinton's chicken enchiladas. I'm wondering what branch of Clinton's what part of Clinton's upbringing focused on enchiladas. Broccoli says, I don't think I've ever refrigerated focaccia dough, but I've left it out covered on the counter overnight. This dough I have always refrigerated. So I've made this recipe basically every time I've put this recipe or I've made this recipe. Basically every time I've made focaccia on stream, I've used the same recipe. I wish it gave me sometimes when you print things out, it tells you when it like adds the print date on here. I didn't. I should start writing down just like when I printed a recipe. Yeah, I don't know what chicken Marengo is, Boris. That sounds fascinating. I'm like intrigued, but I'm also like, could be weird. I know what fried chicken is. I know what chicken salad is. I know what chicken enchiladas are. I do not know what chicken Marengo is. Okay, so this dough, basically you put flour, salt, instant yeast, water in a bowl, and then you sit it in the fridge for, it says, up to 3 days. And then you follow the directions after this. So we're gonna make focaccia. Should be pretty easy. Let's get, what do I need for this? Flour and instant yeast. Everything else is easy. Question: do I have instant yeast? I do. Fantastic. How much instant yeast does this call for? 8 grams, 2 teaspoons. That's like a whole packet. It's basically a whole packet. I need lukewarm water for this. We're going to boil some water in the pot. I'm just going to make this focaccia. Actually, we're going to save the focaccia because the chicken's got to cook for like an hour or more. And I want to get that like done. I'd like to get the chicken cooked and out of the oven before it's actually dinner time today. That would be helpful. This is going to be for the potatoes. Oven is on and heating. Let me get a pan for the chicken to cook on. This is a pretty small chicken, right? Relatively small. Megan, welcome in. Okay. See if I can put that chicken on this pan. This should be a good size. So for this chicken Marengo, my oven says, no, you not close me with your foot. There we go. Okay. Chicken Marengo is a French dish consisting of chicken sauteed in oil with garlic and tomato, garnished with fried eggs and crayfish. Ooh. Garlic and tomato is sort of like, I'm assuming they mean like tomato pieces and not like a tomato sauce. And you put a fried egg on anything and it definitely makes it better. Excellent. I kind of love that. Okay, that sounds really good now. Broccoli, yeah, I have the instant yeast in there mainly for focaccia bread. Mega Miles, welcome in. Welcome in. Jane, hello. Hello, hello. Bellamy Mel or Bella My Mel. Hello. Welcome in. Nice to have you. Thanks for the shout out, So Fluff. Deep Rock Galactic. That Sounds relaxing and engage and like what's the word? Mesmerizing? Welcome. Friends who just joined us, it's nice to have you. My name's Lou. Generally speaking, this is a cooking stream. I know that right now, not actually cooking anything, but we're talking about it. We're planning. We have some stuff that we're going to cook. We have a whole chicken in this pot. We have mushrooms in this bag. We have some spinach that's going to be sauteed. We have some fingerling potatoes here that are going to be cooked, and that's dinner. And we're also going to make a focaccia bread. Not for today. That's for Thursday. You'll have to come back on Thursday to see that. Anyway, we have a poll running in chat. If you have a particularly favorite chicken dish, you can sound off and let us know. You can vote. Point of fact for new friends who just joined us. Like I said, my name is Lou. It is a cooking stream. Sometimes we'll do IRL stuff in and around Philadelphia. But primarily, I'm here. I'm cooking vegetable-forward family meals for myself, my partner, and our son. And that's what we're doing today. Follows are silent. If you're a lurker and you want to hang out longer and you want to follow, definitely feel free to do that. There's no noises, there's no alerts, and there's no chat. And I'm not going to be like, hey, thanks for the follow, blah, blah, blah. Tell me all about this personal detail that you didn't want to share. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, lurkers are welcomed here. And as I said, we're starting to work on dinner. Starting to work on dinner today. So, Broccoli says coronation chicken is a take on chicken salad, curry powder in the mayo dressing with raisins, but it's British with the Indian influence. Yeah, mayonnaise and curry sounds like a British dish that's been co-opted. Or it sounds like they're just like, hey, curry, you might go well in this mayonnaise-y thing. Mega says, do I have a split? I do not. I do not. I don't know what that word means. I might. I'm not sure what that means. I said I do not, but like, maybe I do. Krem, welcome in. Hello. Broccoli says, as a rule, I really dislike chicken salad, but I will eat coronation chicken. I love chicken salad, and I'll eat all forms of it, including coronation chicken. Avo, hello, welcome. Avo, that's 40 check-ins for you. That's a Cookie Club entry. Congrats. Congrats. We do Cookie Club here. If you want to check in, command check-in in chat. Every multiple of 20 check-ins is a Cookie Club entry. At the end of the month, towards the beginning of the month, we do a drawing and send cookies out to folks in the community. That is, in a very short description, what Cookie Club is. And if you want the chance to get entries into Cookie Club, you can type command cookie in chat or command Cookie Club and get all the details on exactly all of the ways you can enter. Abu says good fried chicken is hard to beat. I agree with you. It lost in the poll. I'm pointing to the poll. There's no poll. The chicken enchiladas won in the poll, which are very good. I love chicken enchiladas. Korean fried chicken. No, we've talked about Korean fried chicken on stream before, and it's funny because I have yet to make it, but I have been told to make it many times. No mayo lemon. I know, right? But like, I'm just imagining a British dish. I'm just imagining someone in the constabulary being like, you know what this mayo dish needs? A little bit of appropriated curry, and then they just add the curry to it, and they're like, it's Indian now. And you're like, no, it's still got a ton of mayo in it, boss. It's a mild pepper. Well, in that case, no, I don't have that, but I would probably eat that. I like a mild pepper. I like a regular pepper too. It's Indian mayo now, right? That's the British way. That's ours now. Serious face. Let me check the chicken. I'm positive the chicken's not thawed. I keep saying it, and I keep like not checking it. Here's what we're gonna do. Pause. We're gonna check the chicken. Period. We're gonna check the status of the chicken. We are going to take a quick break. During the break, we're gonna play a game of words on stream. If you're watching on Twitch, you're going to get a 3-minute advertisement. You did not get an advertisement when you joined stream today, if you're not a subscriber, if you're not a Twitch Turbo member. That's because we do them during stream, and we play words on stream during that time. So just a heads up, that's coming up in just like 2 minutes. Let me check this. I am gonna just go ahead and like wash my hands and then get in here with my hands, because I want to be able to like feel what that's like and not just poke at it with a chopstick or something like that. So we're gonna check chicken and take a quick break. During that break, what am I gonna do during the break? During the break, I need to put some dishes away. That's what we'll do. We'll put some dishes away. Mr. Miami, cool. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good one. Happy Tuesday. So this is a chicken. I got this at the farmer's market today. It was frozen. I carried it around in my bag for like an hour and a half after the farmer's market. So it thawed just a little bit during that time. And then I came home and put it in a pot with salted water and a bay leaf and some pepper. And it is not quite, definitely not quite thawed. So I'm going to leave this sit in here a little bit longer. It's not quite to the point. It's almost to the point where I could at least spatchcock it. I could cut the spine off of it, because I can get my hand in there, but not completely. So I'm just going to let this thaw for a little while longer while we prep the rest of the stuff. Let me wash my hands again. I just want to be able to get in there another like 10-15 minutes on that. Should probably work. And once I've spatchcocked it, it won't be as difficult to work with. Okay. Oh. Real curry uses commercial and curry powder, but real curry does not. I love kind of both of those things, even though I know one of them's not as good. All right, we're gonna run a quick 3-minute ad on Twitch. Here comes your 3-minute ad. Here comes a game of words on stream, and we'll be right back.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Commercials I Hate.
All right. Words on stream is running. Let me get my dishes put away from the dish rack. Did those before stream, so just, you know, the never-ending tide of dishes that just are always in the sink. Just 100% of the time, there's dishes in the sink. Can't get away. Can't get away. All right. I got one! Yay! Mystery Mayhem, welcome in. I know you can see me. I know you see you're a subscriber. Or I know you can hear me. If I see a subscriber say hi during words, I don't mind saying hi at that time. So, putting some done dishes away. Dee-dee-dee. Nice. Very nice. Got one more going. At least, no, one more words on stream game for this round. we'll certainly do another one today. I had 2 more. Right. All right, if you are on Twitch, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. Appreciate it. Ad should be over by now. And we're back. We're finishing a game of words on stream. Please feel free to join in. All right. Hey, deedle-dee. Very nice. All right. Thanks for your patience. That wasn't so bad. Funny, because despite the fact that the ads are 3 minutes long, it doesn't feel like 3 minutes. At least to me. Putting stuff away in the kitchen takes like 3 minutes, and so like at the end of it, I'm just like, oh, it's over. I hope you all enjoy the words on stream. Okay, so we're gonna let the chicken just continue to like soak in there. Again, the chicken was completely frozen when I purchased it at 11 o'clock this morning. 11 a.m. I purchased the chicken. It's been in water since about 1 p.m. So it's coming along. It's coming along. What we're going to do with these potatoes, we're going to do these for dinner. I'm just kind of making sure there's no little, like, taking little growth pieces off the tops of them. I'm going to rinse these off and give them a scrub. And then I'll put these in some water. We're just going to boil these. We're going to par cook them in a small pot of water here on the stove for, I don't know, 10, possibly 15 minutes until they're soft. Then I'm going to take them out. We're going to let them cool a little bit. And then we're going to smash them with a pan and fry them in some butter with a bunch of herbs. I'm not going to fry them with the herbs. We're going to fry them in a pan with some butter, and then we're going to toss those fried potatoes with a bunch of herbs. So, fancy potatoes indeed. These are little teeny tiny like fingerling potatoes. I don't know. I guess they're fancy. Would you all call these fancy potatoes? I don't know that I would see much of a difference between these and the like russet potatoes, because I'm getting roughly the same amount out of them, kind of regardless. And functionally, they were the same price, so like I didn't really care today. I love fingerlings when I get those are new potatoes. I love the roasting them in herbed oil. I think, yeah, I love herbs. I don't have any herbed oil, but I do love tossing these with a bunch of like just a bunch of like loose herbs. So whatever I have in the fridge, I think I have dill and parsley and chives in the fridge still. We'll do all of those, and we'll just get like a little bowl. I'll fry these, and then we'll toss them with that. And it says they seem kind of fancy. I mean, they do. You know, if you were to go to a restaurant, they'd charge you more for like smashed fingerling potatoes than they would for mashed potatoes. And I guess there's something to be said about that. But kind of for me, I suppose they're fancy potatoes. We can call them fancy potatoes. If it helps y'all, we'll call them fancy potatoes today. I don't find them particularly fancy, but that is just because they're always available. Like at the market, the Saturday market I go to, they've always had them, and they're like all the potatoes are just basically the same price. So I don't see them as fancy anymore. But again, I'm spoiled, and they are available. So I'm gonna cover these with some water, and we're gonna put a pot on the stove and get these going. Because again, I don't need these to like be completely finished at any particular time. Once they're par cooked here, I can smash them at any point and then fry them basically at any point. I can keep them warm in the oven if I want to. You know, it's sort of whatever. So it is an easy dish to make. Fancy or not, Broccoli says the main difference between taters is waxy and starchy, so it's all in the texture. Totally. Yeah, and like you wouldn't use certain potatoes to make fries out of, just like you wouldn't use certain potatoes to make mashed potatoes out of. Like that's kind of with these potatoes, these fingerling potatoes, they're best. You know, you can make mashed potatoes out of them. They're pretty good. You wouldn't want to make fries out of them because they're like really small. But I do find that when you par cook them a little bit and then fry them, they hold up pretty well. Like their constitution, for lack of a better term, they don't fall apart when you pan fry them. When you smash and pan fry them, the fingerlings don't. I think for occasionally when I do that to like the little tiny red bliss potatoes, those I feel like are a little bit more fragile, and you need to cook them less, like a lot less parboiling for those, because if you cook them too much, they disintegrate. I can mash Yukon Golds, but I wouldn't use a starchy one to make au gratin. You know, because then it would probably just stick together, right? Then you'd get like au gratin paste. Is what I'm imagining. That's how I'm imagining that scenario to play out. That's so funny. Okay. While we're waiting for the water, let's clean the mushrooms. I got these from vendor that I got these from. I got these from Primordia Farms, which is a vendor that we've seen before on stream. We saw them at the Rittenhouse Market, which they go to, and we've seen them at the Clark Park Market. When we went to Clark Park together, we went all over, and that was one of the vendors at Clark Park, was the Primordia Farms mushroom vendor. So these folks are in and around the Philadelphia farmers market soon, pretty regularly. Cito, welcome in. Good to have you. But Primordia Farms, they had a bunch of different varieties of mushrooms today. Like golden mushrooms, they had enoki mushrooms. They had, what else did they have? They had shiitakes, they had maitakes, they had not hen of the woods, that's maitake. They had lion's mane, they had creminis, obviously. They had some sort of golden mushroom. They had blue oyster mushrooms today. I did my best basic human being impression and got cremini mushrooms to roast. The reason I did that was, again, keeping dinner simple today, 1. And 2, they happen to be Calvin's favorite roasted mushroom. So without changing course too much, and throwing something in front of him that he may not be familiar with, I just wanted to go with a super familiar, like, mushroom variety today. Also, I know how to roast these. I know I can roast them whole. I know that they're easy to roast whole. and I know that I like them too. So sometimes I like to experiment, and sometimes I like to just keep it easy because I'm having sort of a low effort day mentally, which I am today. Today has been sort of a trying to keep my brain offline a little bit, generally speaking. Alley Cat, welcome. Good to have you. But blue oyster mushrooms are always nice. I was thinking about those. I was thinking about the what was the other kind? Golden. Oh, they had trumpet mushrooms, like king trumpet mushrooms. Thinking about those, but ultimately I was just like, I need it to be as simple as possible this evening. I don't want to think about it too much. I just want to like put a bunch of stuff on a sheet pan and put it in the oven and then have dinner shortly thereafter. And all of this stuff today I can cook and then hold hot in the oven. So the other thing is I'm not beholden to timing today. I'm not frying any eggs. There's no like, hey, dinner's ready and come eat it now. Which I tend to prefer early, especially early in the week when everybody's sort of getting back onto their weekly grind, as it were. I think keeping your meals easy is, for me anyway, it's really important. Rocky says, any kid who loves shrooms wins my heart. Same. I had a moment yesterday where we were out, Calvin and I were leaving our camp where we were camping, and we stopped at this little like not corner store. We stopped at like a little general store in the area that has like a small deli counter, a couple prepared foods, like chips, some canned goods, a bunch of drinks. Like it's a country store. And we ordered sandwiches, and he ordered a chicken cheesesteak, as opposed to a regular cheesesteak, which I was like, oh, interesting. But the person at the counter was like, do you want that plain? And he was like, no, like, what do you have? What do you have to put on it? And she was like, we got hot peppers, sweet peppers, we got mushrooms, we got lettuce, tomato, onion. She like went down the list of all the stuff they could add to it. And he was like, yeah, I want to do like green peppers and onions. And then he was or green peppers and mushrooms. And he was like, what kind of mushrooms are they? And I think this woman had never been asked that question by a child. She looked shocked, like literally legitimately shocked. And I was just standing there kind of laughing because I'm like, this kid from the city is out here asking this woman like what kind of mushrooms you've got on your chicken cheesesteak. And she was like, what? Anyway, she was like, oh, I think she was like, oh, I think they're the regular ones. And he was like creminis. And she was like, yeah, I think so. And he was like, I'll have those. And he got them. So apparently they were acceptable. Anyway, he's kind of bougie. Broccoli says, like, keep a variety of dried mushrooms on him, and it's not easy to find anything fresh that isn't a white button or a brown cremini in portobello. Oh, they have portobellos too. I don't mean to rub it in. Sorry, that was maybe that was insensitive. But yeah, it was a. I mean, those are like the common ones, right? Like those are your grocery store mushrooms. Chicken cheesesteak, lemon. Yeah, definitely. It is. I don't know what cut of chicken they tend to use, but they tend to cut the chicken up into the same. It's like chicken breast, but it's cross cut the same way you would cross cut it for like stir frying. If that makes sense, like it's long, these like long thin strips, and they just fry them the same as they would a regular cheesesteak. I mean, they fry them on the grill. They take the fried onions, they mix them in, they put the cheese on top, put a little steamer on top of it. It's basically the same thing. I don't think that there's any special seasonings that they put on there. Usually on the beef, there's nothing special about those seasonings either. It's just salt and pepper. So I can imagine the chicken's basically the same. And I love them. I mean, I think a chicken cheesesteak is amazing. I would probably prefer a chicken cheesesteak personally to a beef one, but just because I don't really love beef. I think I eat cheesesteaks so infrequently that I usually get beef, but if I was to partake in a cheesesteak maybe more than once a year, I might opt for the chicken one instead. It's very good. They're very good. I mean, the only difference is like it's not shaved. The meat is differently textured. Like in a cheesesteak, it's either like shaved, so you get like a big slab of meat, or it's chopped up. But even when it's chopped or chipped, it's still like has that flat consistency. The only difference is the chicken. The chicken is like a larger piece of meat on the sandwich. Dan says they think chicken fillets are good, but buffalo style ones are good too. No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. A buffalo chicken cheesesteak is good. Anytime you're getting a chicken cheesesteak, it's not like an authentic cheesesteak. It's not beef, but like, come on, don't gatekeep. We don't like to gatekeep here. All right, potatoes are boiling, so let's give those a timer of 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we'll check them. They may be finished. Bellis, hello. Bellis, did I say hi? I don't think I did. Regardless, hello. Camping went really well. We were out for 3 nights. We were out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, and we hiked. We did an orienteering course on Saturday morning. We did, so Saturday we did orienteering. Sunday we hiked a little bit. We did just a couple kilometers of the Appalachian Trail, which was beautiful as always, as it always is. And Monday, we packed up and came home, but it took like a real slow day. So we had hiking, we did a bunch of biking, we had a bunch of good food. It rained like a little bit. It rained just enough that I could say that it rained, but like it didn't rain enough that I needed to like set up a larger tarp. I just had like an easy up over the picnic table and that was it. So it was a really good trip. I was happy. It was sort of the first trip of the season, essentially. So I kind of look at it as sort of like a shakeout. I forgot to put ice in the cooler. So, you live and you learn. When we got to the campground and I like opened the cooler for dinner, I was like, hey, there's no ice packs in here. Great. Perfect. But it's fine because I didn't actually have anything frozen. So I went out and bought a bag of ice and just stuffed that in the cooler. Anyway, Robbie, welcome in. Good to have you. I hope your weekend was good. Bellis, I think I was just mid thought train for a little while, and that's why I saw it, but I was like, I'm finishing this thought. And then there was another one, shockingly, right on the heels of that one. Can you even imagine? Lemon says I would try one if I could eat beef. But I'll try a chicken one. I think the chicken ones are great. I can eat beef, but I just choose not to because I don't really like it. I did not have any beef this weekend. What did we eat this weekend? The chicken sandwiches were particularly good. Those were very good. The chicken pesto sandwiches with cheese and fried onions were fantastic. And the banana bread was great. We did banana bread for breakfast in the morning, and like I fried it in a cast iron pan with like a bunch of butter. That's always really good. Really good. Ooh, fellas, amazing. Pork kebabs and a bunch of colorful veggies on the charcoal grill. That sounds like a great dinner. I like that. I love kebabs. Kebabs are one of my favorite types of dinners because you can just make like a few of them. It's always kind of nice. Wild temperature swings, 65 to 70 and back down to freezing. Yeah. Welcome to spring, right? Uncommon, hello, welcome. Welcome to spring. You have allergies and ice. Enjoy. I don't need that spinach. Why am I grabbing that spinach? All right. Before I check the chicken again, let's check the potatoes. So these, again, some of these are going to be cooked more than others because they are smaller. But these are not there yet. They're going to need a little bit more time after my timer runs out. I have a minute left on the clock, so let's put 6 minutes left on the clock. 6 minutes on the clock. That'll be 10 total minutes because I have 1 minute left on my countdown. Okay, I would like to spatchcock this chicken now, sort of regardless of what state it's in, because that's going to help it thaw. And then I kind of want to spatchcock it and let it be out on the pan for like a little bit before I toss it in the oven. So we're going to do that on this pan and not on the counter. And then we'll transfer it to this pan for cooking purposes. So mushrooms out of the way. Chicken over here. This chicken is a whole chicken. I bought this at the market this morning. It was completely frozen, solid. I took all of the things today. I went to the market before any appointments today, so I was just carrying around like a big frozen chicken to appointments today, which was kind of funny. Secret chicken in my bag. Like, what you got in there? I'm like, whole chicken? Frozen? It's a weapon. Bison broccoli. Yeah, bison is good. I've never had a bison cheesesteak. I bet that would be really tasty. I hope it's a whole chicken if we're spatchcocking it. We are. It is, and we are. Correct. So this should be a little bit thawed, a little bit more thawed than last time. Whole chicken. It is slightly more thawed, I can tell. All right, so spatchcocking is super easy, relatively easy. Step one, find the spine. There it is. Step two, take poultry scissors and cut along the spine, each side of the spine. So you're cutting the ribs here, essentially. Sorry for anybody who's like vegan / vegetarian and is horrified at what's going on here, but anyway, this is dinner. And okay, here we go. Let's kind of peel this open just a little bit. There's some additional skin. So we've cut half along half the spine. And we're completely clear. So I could fold this open. Now I can basically like fold this open if I want to. Some ice inside here. Again, we're just prepping the chicken right now. Okay, so spine is halfway. Let's grab the other side. I'm going to grab it right by this little little nose down on the bottom here. I'm just going to cut the second half. I'm going to cut the other side of the spine. So we have a whole chicken with the spine removed. Kind of grim, but that's how it goes. You know, all of this happens to all the chicken that everyone eats. It's just sometimes you do it yourself and sometimes you don't. Fudge darling, I see you trying. So this is going to go in a stock bag. And this water in this pot is going to go down the sink. So that is my brining water. That had in it salt and peppercorns and 2 bay leaves, and that's it. All right, so with the chicken, with spatchcocking. So basically with spatchcocking is you're taking this body, this carcass, and you want it to lay flat. Now, it's not going to do that right away because there's a lot of little pieces in here, or a lot of little like tendons and muscles. So if you take this and cut it, so we're gonna cut this. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this. Take my scissors and just use one half of the scissors. So there's this little tendon that's basically like right here at the top. Right? If you take a knife and you sever that, just sever that right there. We've made like a little piece. Then what you do is you take the chicken and flip it over. And what that allows you to do is crack it open like that. And so now we have a chicken that we can lay flat on the pan. Now why would you want your chicken to lay flat like that? Well, I'll tell you after I wash my hands. Because it is, now I have chicken all in my hands, which is fine. And my alarm is going off for the potatoes, so I need to check those. So I need to wash my hands first. And I can't press any of the buttons on my Stream Deck until I wash my hands. So it cooks more evenly. Exactly, Uncommon. So you're gonna get this chicken cooked more evenly and a little bit quicker, because there's no inside air cavity to like kind of keep that from getting warm. It's it's as if you're cooking a chicken quarter or a chicken half, right? Chicken quarter would be like that. Chicken half would be like that. And yeah, it cooks quicker. It cooks quicker. I first spatchcocked a chicken based on a recipe that called for it. And that particular recipe called for spatchcocking the chicken and then cooking it for 2.5 hours at 325 in the oven. So that's pretty low as far as temperatures go. We're going to cook a little faster and hotter than that because 325, because I don't have 2.5 hours. What's this one for? Actually, I do. Which is also fine. But I don't want to do that. I want to cook this in a much quicker time frame. So this is mostly thawed now. I've got a mostly thawed chicken. I'm gonna put another 4 minutes on those potatoes. I just checked them. Some of them are good. Some of the larger ones are not quite there yet. So what's that going to be? That's going to be 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 14 minutes on the potatoes total, which is again not that much. So spatchcocking is just a way to cook it evenly. I personally prefer to do this over roasting it whole because I also find it easier to cut this apart when I want to serve it. The butchering of the chicken and like the removal of the bones I find to be a little easier in this situation. So that's why I do that. That's why I like it like that. Beer can chicken and smoked ribs on the grill. Broccoli, you are speaking my language. I love grilled food. I don't always like the grilling aspect of it. I'm not a sort of like grill master, but I'll eat it. What do I want to coat this chicken with? I said butter. I said I don't want to get complicated, but I'm also now sort of like, maybe we add like a little bit of, I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking. I want to add some butter, salt, pepper, obviously. I might add some garlic bouillon and mix all that together in a bowl. So I've got sort of like a slurry of stuff to spread on here. So let's do that. I got this butter out a little while ago. It's pretty warm. I don't think I need to warm this any farther. I think that once I start smashing this with a fork, it'll be just fine. So let's take about 3/4 of a stick of butter and a little bit of salt and some pepper. And we're just going to take this and mix it all together. What else could I add here? I'm going to see what other spices I've got in the cabinet that I might just want to season this chicken with. Like, I don't want this to be specifically like paprika chicken or like garlic chicken or any of like the types. I'm not making like a recipe. But that said, I am fine adding a bunch of like additional herbs / spices or whatever to here. Maybe a little bit of onion powder would be nice. Maybe a little bit of garlic powder if I can find it. I know it's here. It's in the back. There it is. I'm actually going to add, I'm going to add some garlic bouillon to this, so I don't want to add any garlic powder. Sorry, my bad. Let's add some dried dill. A little bit of onion powder. That is not coming out at a satisfying rate. There we go. I have fresh herbs in the cabinet, but I think I'm going to just use the dried ones for now. Because they're pretty nice, generally speaking. All right, ginger, no. I have a thing in here that just says poultry seasoning. That could be good. Coriander, nah. Yeah, maybe a little coriander, just a little bit. Lemon. Coriander has like a lemon component to it, which I kind of love. Okay. And I did say that I wanted to add some garlic bouillon, so let's do that. And then we'll mash all of this together. But first, my alarm went off. Let's check these potatoes again. Again, all I'm looking for is smashable potatoes. So these, I just want to be crushable. Yeah, those are. Okay, that one is. Let's see, how's the large one? There's a larger one in here. Yeah, okay, good. These are great. Ready to go. I'm going to drain those and put those in a little bowl. And we'll come back to those. We'll revisit these in just a little bit. We're going to let them sort of dry out just a touch. Before smashing these. Baker, hello, welcome in. Broccoli says, I like both cilantro leaves and the coriander you get when you let it go to seed. I've never let it go to seed. It's funny because I don't like cilantro fresh, but I do like coriander dried. They're the same thing, just in a different format, which is odd to me, but I mean, they taste completely different in my experience, in my head. You know what I could add to this? I was just thinking I could add like a little bit of tomato paste and have this be a little bit more of a like tomatoey situation. Okay, just added a little bit of garlic bouillon here. And we're going to smash this with the fork. I say that about the tomato paste because I have a little bit of tomato paste in the fridge that I haven't used and don't really have a plan for. So maybe I could just smash that in here too. Yeah, broccoli, they definitely don't taste. Dried and fresh cilantro taste completely different. One of them I love and use in many things. And the other one I avoid because it tastes funny to me. Although I'm not a cilantro hater and I'm not a purist completely avoiding things. I just, I don't generally cook with it. I don't buy it and therefore I don't have it on hand to cook with. Okay, so the butter looks good. Instead of bread today, I'm going to do the nice thing that I love being able to do. Instead of slices of bread, sorry, we're still going to have bread, but instead of having bread slices, we're going to do croutons. Because I can do croutons in the chicken fat that is rendered off of this chicken here on the same sheet pan. So we're going to do we'll do croutons. Because funny enough, croutons are like a snack food around here. At least for me, they are. I love like homemade croutons that are just loose in the fridge. I also put them in Calvin's lunch, and he enjoys that. And that'll be a nice like addition. Just have like instead of like a slice of bread and butter, we can have like a few croutons on the side of this, and that'll be different and unique. You can eat coriander seeds raw or dry them for later. Are the dried ones are the ones that turn into the spice, correct? Or that we turn into the spice, not fresh ones. Broccoli, I have that gene. Cilantro tastes very plasticky to me. I don't know that I would go so far as to say soap, but it tastes very chemically. When I eat fresh cilantro, I don't get citrus or spice at all. I just get plastic. Like it just tastes like plastic. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. If you're buying the spice, then they're dry. That makes sense. I thought maybe they would like, I don't know, grind it somehow or like process it somehow and then dry it. I don't know how that would work. Of course it's ground. Of course it's dried after it's already been ground. That makes sense. All right, so we have butter. This is a mix of butter and garlic. Butter, garlic bouillon, coriander, onion powder, salt, and pepper. And we're going to take this. Now my chicken is pretty thawed, and what's not thawed is going to thaw real quick in the oven. But there's my garlic butter. Is cilantro like mint when it goes to seed? Is it like aggressive, or is it something that you could actually grow or could actually grow? I would see the meme that's like, you know, the novice gardener. It's like, I planted mint in the ground and it's doing great. And then like the next panel, it's just like seasoned gardener, and it's sort of like I forget the name, the actual meme format name, but it's the guy with the like, you know, it's like a black and white wheat paste style, like, oh no face. Sometimes seeds are fermented before drying and grinding. Okay. Yeah, Lemon, I think that's what I was like. I know that sometimes you have to like, there's a lot of processing that goes on. Joe, welcome in. When you grow mint, Lemon says you only grow mint. That is how aggressive it is. Yeah. I know you're not supposed to plant it outside of a container or else it just gets everywhere. Mint, yeah, it takes over. Broccoli, I love dill in all formats. Fresh, dry, whatever. It grows and sows really fast, but it doesn't spread. That's good. A hardy plant that sort of stays in its own lane, we love that. All right, chicken is ready. I just dumped the liquid from this tray into the sink. We're gonna take this now and move it. Actually, no, I'm gonna dry this off with some paper towels first. So we're gonna dry for a moment, a little bit. Wish can get the underside. Don't sit it back down on the tray while drying the other side because the tray's wet. All right, make sure there's any little like giblets or leftover pieces here are gone. Okay. Now this is the perfect little tray for this. It fits precisely right here. Lemon, you're making dill pickles tomorrow. A classic and a favorite. The dill pickle is, oh man. I had a moment this weekend where I could have purchased a thing of pickles, like a quart container of pickles, and I didn't because I was like, that's too many pickles. Like, we're not going to eat those. Like, Calvin's not going to eat all those. I'm not going to eat all those. Whatever. And I definitely could have. That was on Friday. And by Monday, I was like, I would have eaten a whole thing of pickles by now. What am I talking about? All right. Let me wash my hands one more time here. And then I'm going to do this with some gloves, I think. If I have gloves, we're going to use gloves. I actually, honestly, very directly and honestly forget if I have gloves in here or not. And if not, we're not going to use them. But if I do, we are. So let's check. Nope, no gloves. Okay, I'm out of gloves. I need gloves before we do Cookie Club. So I wouldn't miss the pickles. Uncommon. That's exactly why. That's exactly why your schedule changed. Oregano self-sows too. It pops up in the yard between the papers. Oregano feels very hearty. I love oregano. Of course, Charlie, you're eating pickles right now. I love that. I'm not and wish that I were. I could probably, I feel like the canning, making pickles by canning and like is very different than making them in just like, you know, in a jar. I feel like my first step in pickle making would have to be something easier. I've been impressed, Lemon, with your canning, and I feel like that is a nice. It feels interesting because it's like not quite cook. It's like cooking, but it's so different than like cooking, than like, you know, frying things on the stove kind of cooking, that it's just very fascinating. The whole canning process is wild. So we're taking this butter. I took half the butter and I'm just putting it on. Most of it I'm shoving underneath the skin here. So that it gets next to the meat, and when it melts, it kind of melts itself in between the skin and the meat and seasons it from the inside. And now the rest of the other half I'm going to spread around the outside, and then at the end of this we'll pick it up and do like the bottom, right? Everything I feel like is more simple than I expect it to be, but I'm also the type of person that overcomplicates things, so lots of things are more simple than I like imagine it to be. Again, going back to the like full all the work on deploy versus just send it. I I would love to try pickling at some point, or canning specifically. It's just something I haven't gotten around to yet. Mainly from like an equipment perspective. I don't have it. Literally, I have a large pot that I can boil water in, but that's pretty much about it. Monkey says we're so used to canning excess produce that it's second nature. We know what can be hot canned versus what has to be boiled. If the lid goes bink during cooling, all is good. Yeah, and there's some folks that are like that. I know, like SoFluff, one of our moderators, does pickles regularly. It's like, I remember she posted in Discord at the end of like canning season last year, like the picture of all the pickles that she had. It was like, oh my God, there's so many, like you did so much work. One big jar. Yes. Yeah, the fermentation is different though, because you don't have to like boil and any of that, right? You're just sort of like set it in the thing and there it goes. At least that's my understanding of that process. All right. So last of the butter. Rubbing that on the underside. But we have a garlic butter chicken now, for lack of a better term. And we're going to spatchcock it. I'm going to tuck to the wings a little bit. You can always cut the wingtips off if you want. You don't need to keep these if you're not inclined to eat them or cook with them or whatever. I just leave them on because I don't really care. I don't really see the need to take them off. But all right, all that butter just went basically underneath of the skin in here. So again, I'm gonna wash my hands. Raw chicken day is like washing your hands every 45 seconds until it's in the oven. My oven is at 400 degrees, so we're cooking relatively high. I'm going to drop that down to 375 because I don't need this chicken to be finished in the oven. I don't need this to take any specific amount of time, and I feel like 400 might be too aggressive of a temperature for it, so we'll see. Let it hang in the jar with no boiling. I love a ferment. I'm glad it's simpler than you thought. I know, I was very excited. I voted for this class. I was like, you got to do this one. I'm pretty sure I voted for this class. You can check the record. Okay. Chicken, whole roasted, ready to go in the oven. Here it is. Oop. Let's wipe the butter off the front of that tray so it doesn't drip down into the bottom of my oven. Okay. There we go. Beautiful. Here we go. Here's a whole chicken that's going to go in the oven. Slathered with butter. Uncommon gloves are also useful. They are useful. If I had gloves, would have used them. I did not. We shall not. All right, I'm going to turn this with the breast part towards the back of the oven where it's warmer. Those take longer. And let's put a pause. I also said I wanted to turn the oven down. I want to turn the oven down to 375. We're going to set the timer here for 30 minutes. It will not be done it will not be finished in 30 minutes, but at 30 minutes, I will know how much longer it's going to be. Because I'm not like following a recipe or any of that. So we're going for it. Going for it. All right. Spatchcock chicken is definitely in the oven. Next, let's smash these potatoes and get them ready to fry. We're gonna do the smashed potatoes. We'll do those. Then we will roast the mushrooms. So I'm gonna smash the potatoes. No, first, let's get our seasonings ready for the potatoes. Herbs, just herbs. Am I doing anything with the chicken? I'm making croutons. So let's get our herbs together. We'll prep our herbs. We'll prep the bread. And then we will work on the potatoes. So all that's going to come up. All that's coming up next. Yeah, all that's coming up next. All right. In the interim, we're going to take our hourly mandated break on Twitch for 3 minutes. During that time, I'm going to process all the dishes that I just put in the sink. So 2 pots, couple bowls, colander. We'll get all that in the dishwasher. When we come back, we'll do herb prep, potato prep, and cooking, and we'll check the chicken. That'll be like in the next segment. Lemon says I'm being responsible in changing out my air filters. Ooh, look at you go. That is responsible. I feel like I just changed our air filters were just changed recently. I corrected myself because I most certainly did not do the changing of the air filters. I believe that Gwen changed the air filters recently. I ordered them, the filters, but I did not do the work. I think she did. It is a good time for that, though. You're absolutely right. Now is the time when it's also good if you're like wondering why you don't feel well to like maybe consider your allergy medication again this year. It sneaks up on you and you're like, hey, why am I sneezing all of a sudden today? You know what changed? The air, the literal air. Anyway, all right, let's take a quick break. We're going to play a little game of words on stream. Here we are. And we'll be right back. Hang out. If you are inclined to not get an ad, you can always go watch on YouTube and subscribe there if you'd like. There's no ads there. There are on Twitch, and if you're watching on Twitch and you're not a subscriber, now's a good time to subscribe. Or a Twitch Turbo member. Otherwise, see you in 3 minutes. We'll be right back. Here's a game of words on stream. Oh, I know. I got one. Oh, Robbie got it first. Damn it.
Hi. Welcome to another edition of Commercials I Hate.
All right. Ads are running. Let's put stuff away. Put the last little things in the dish rack. It's not a dish rack. It's just like a sort of a drying mat. It's not a rack at all. It's a flat surface on the counter. Okay, that doesn't really matter. It's all just semantics. Add stuff to the dishwasher. Bowls of butter. Are we serious? Y'all? Sheesh! God damn! That was incredible. That was like 35 seconds. How? I mean, I know how. It's because you're smart. Because y'all are good at these things. All y'all words guessers there. Wise and sage-like. All right. Let's at least wash this pot that the chicken was soaking in. Can't wash everything, but I can get a big one out of the way. Wash this pot, and that'll be it. Maybe. And again, for the consideration of other people who live in this house and have to do dishes, I like to not leave them in the sink if I can help those. I should be more selfish over that and just be like, oh, it's your turn to do the dishes. I could be, but I'm not. All right. Last couple guesses for this round. We got one more guess each, starting right now. One more guess, one more valid guess per person. So very close on that one. I'll give it to you. I mean, I can't. I'm not actually going to give it to you. I can't do that. It's not within the realm of possibility for me to assign wins or losses to the game of words on stream. But anyway, good job, good guesses out there. And that first game was incredible. Y'all put it over the top in like 30 seconds, and I'm impressed. Duly impressed. Okay, we're back. Thank you for your patience. If you're watching an ad on Twitch, I'm sorry about the ads. They will continue. You can subscribe if you don't like them. You have options if you don't like the ads. You can subscribe to Twitch Turbo, or you can leave, or you can deal with it. Anyway. That's how it is. Amber, welcome in. Good day. See, I'm doing good, y'all. I'm saying good day today. We're not messing around with any of the whole like, what time of the day is it for you? No, we're just saying good day. Just good day. All right. So I'm going to smash these potatoes. This is a very straightforward process. Where we literally just take all these potatoes and smash them flat. And then we're going to fry them. I was thinking about frying them on the griddle, but then I thought twice about that. And we're going to do them in the pan. And I like doing them in the pan as opposed to the griddle, because when I do them in the pan, I can shake the pan around and like slide them around without touching them individually. So. All right, pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is smash, salt, and stow. I'm going to do the smashing with, what do I want to do the smashing with? I want to do the smashing with a glass. Yeah, these are all pretty small potatoes. So the bottom of glass would work. I'm in Amber Calvin is not around at the moment. He will be around at a time later. Okay, I'm going to salt these after I smash them as well. So pretty straightforward. And then we smash. Easy. So just a little pinch of salt. And then onto the pan. Onto the pan they go. Let's move the pan over here so you can see the pan. That way the pan is not hidden. We don't need to hide the pan. There's no need to hide the pan. But we're gonna smash. Give a little twist so it comes off. And I'm salting these now because when I put them in the pan to cook, it's going to be a little late to salt them. Ninja Bacon, hello. Welcome. What about Daisy? I don't even know where Daisy is. I haven't seen Daisy all day. I just said her name, though, and I feel like I heard... she's down on the couch. I just went to look for her. She's on the couch. She hasn't heard any keywords today, anything special to entice her interest, so she's just going to stay down there. I'm going to put a little salt on the board down here before I smash this, so I only have to salt the one side of the potato. She says she could smell your potatoes. She does not want any. No, potatoes are not good for dogs. They are generally unhealthy for dogs to eat potatoes. So that is unfortunately not a snack that Daisy's allowed. That potato was wet. Like that was literally like moisture came out of that one. I think it was like retaining water in the inside of the skin somehow. That was way wetter than I was. There was like literally water that came out. That was odd. It was very unexpected. Daisy, yesterday, we always come home from these camping trips, and she has like immediate expectations, which is fine. So she always gets a little W at the end of these trips whenever I come home. Usually I make Calvin go with me. Last night I gave her a walk while Gwen was putting Calvin to bed. I think she doesn't like to go on the trips. Like she has no desire to go. Maybe she does have a desire to go. I don't know. I've never actually asked her and she's never been invited. So I shouldn't say that. But I do know that when we come back, she's not super enthusiastic and about it until I tell her like we can do something or we can kind of go somewhere, and then she's ready. So I'm just getting these potatoes basically ready to fry here. Just smashing, salting, and storing on the pan. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Dogs can eat cooked potatoes? I don't know about that, Ninja. I've never heard that one before, but I mean, I'll take your word for it. I'm still not going to feed her. I'm still not going to feed them to my dog because our vet says not to, but I have not received such guidance from our vet. Until I do, we will restrain ourselves. Refrain and restrain. I guess we're restraining and refraining. He says, my dog got into a box of baklava while we were asleep last night. Gone! But the box was evidence. Oh my God, better than getting into chocolate. I know, right? And all of this is just like small doses, right? Like if a dog eats a couple French fries, you're not going to take the dog to the emergency room, right? Like if a dog eats like a piece of your chocolate, you're not going to. And I guess depending on the size of your dog, but in general, there's some leeway for that. Restraint, exactly. Yeah. Yes, broccoli and mashed potato pot. So yeah, I don't, I've just been told these are foods that dogs can be sensitive to. I know that I have a sensitive stomach dog, right? Like Daisy is fairly, she's fairly sensitive to to changes in her diet. So I tend to err on the side of like general caution around all of that. Jordy, hello. The only ones I know are super bad are onions and grapes. Yeah, I don't know what it is about some things that why dogs can't process some of them, but generally speaking, you shouldn't feed your dog all that much people food. That's all. Processed foods. Your family dog love mashed potatoes? I love that. That's funny. I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm behind. Maybe I'm behind on the things, but I do know that we're not supposed to feed Daisy potatoes or really much of anything. She was on a plain diet for like months earlier this year, so I'm not trying to go out on a limb and experiment too much with the additional dietary changes. All right, so the potatoes are finished this part of their process. We have some smashed potatoes. These you could eat right now, but we're gonna fry them in a pan first. Jordy, you had to take your dog to a vet for raisins. Oh no. And especially with little dogs, like with little dogs, if they eat something, it's a little bit more impactful, right? If Daisy ate a raisin, I wouldn't care. If Daisy ate like one of pretty much anything, I wouldn't care. I would expect her to have digestive issues over it, though. Grapes, raisins, chocolate, anything in the allium family. Yeah, a lot of those things. I know, like, generally, fried foods also are not good for dogs. Um, Herbs. So we're going to smash the potatoes and get the herbs together for them. Because what I want to do with these when they're done is toss them all in a bowl with a bunch of herbs. So let me get my pan out here. So we're going to fry these potatoes next. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get the herbs together and I'm going to cut up the bread for the croutons because I want to make croutons in the chicken, the rendered chicken fat from that half chicken or from the whole chicken that's in there. I have 13 minutes left on the clock for that. I believe 12 minutes, 54 seconds, which is great. That was 30 minutes worth of time on the chicken. It probably is not going to be finished in that time, but it is on its way. That was the chicken spine. I forgot to put that in the freezer. What's in the freezer now? All right, let's just put the herbs. What was in this bowl? This bowl just had potatoes in it. All right, we're going to put the herbs in this bowl. And the croutons I'm going to make out of two different types of things. One, these brioche rolls that were from this weekend, and this multigrain sourdough, which I've been picking off of for like 2 weeks now. It's still good, but it's only got a little bit of time left in the fridge before it's no good. So we're going to make it into croutons today. Jody says grapes are worse than chocolate. I have no idea. I don't know what the scale. I'll take your word for it. Just like I'll take your word that potatoes are not great or are acceptable or okay. I'm still not going to feed Daisy chocolate, raisins, grapes, or potatoes. But I believe you. Oh, excuse me. Okay, herbs though. Herbs are going to be super simple for this. Whatever is in here and good that I can still use is what I'm going to use. Because these are, I didn't store these herbs the way that I prefer to store them, which is to say in my little herb storage box. I just had them loose in a bag. I bought them. I kind of like tossed them in there haphazardly. And so they're not as good as they could be, but they are still okay. Some of them are not okay, and we're just going to take those out. And that's good too. But the rest of them, we're just going to chop up, and those will be costs. We're not going to cook these at all. Just going to toss these with the potatoes when they're finished cooking, along with a little bit of salt, like finishing salt. And then they can just stay in a bowl in the oven and stay warm while we work on anything else for dinner. So the plan for dinner today is roasted chicken. If you're joining us recently and haven't heard the whole thing, we're doing a roasted chicken. That's in the oven. It has garlic butter and has been in there for about 20 minutes. So we're going to do that. We're going to do just some chicken pieces, like, you know, have a thigh, have a leg, whatever. We're going to do a piece of chicken, a bit of smashed potatoes that have been parboiled, and then we're going to smash them in a pan. No, we're not going to smash them in a pan. Sorry, they've been smashed. We're going to put them in a pan and we're going to fry them. They look like this. That's these on the counter over here. Chapstick Queen, welcome in. Good to have you. In addition to the potatoes, which we're going to toss with some herbs, including dill, parsley, and chives, I'll have mushrooms, roasted cremini mushrooms, some sauteed spinach, just like a little teeny little bit of sauteed spinach, because I only got a whole bag of spinach and I'm going to make the whole bag, and it's going to end up being like this much spinach per person. So we'll do that, and then we'll have some croutons in lieu of bread and butter, because croutons are really good, and it's bread in butter that's then been fried, and chicken fat. And the butter from the chicken. Anyway, we're going to do croutons instead of like a slice of bread, because I kind of want to, and that's how it goes. So that's the food plan for today. I'm also going to make focaccia dough that is for Thursday. We're going to let it rest for 48 hours in the refrigerator in a bowl. That should be fairly easy to pull together. Toward the end of stream. So right now I'm cutting up herbs for my potatoes. These are just going to be uncooked raw herbs that the potatoes get tossed with after they've been completely cooked, and then we'll cook the potatoes. That'll be next. Actually, next will probably be, we'll cook the potatoes next. I was going to say next we'll be checking the chicken, but that's 7 minutes from now. So we're not quite there yet. Jamie, welcome. Annual herbs, broccoli. Yeah, definitely time to get planted if you're growing annuals. I didn't plant anything this year so far. I'm not also a gardener, generally speaking. I'm a like go to the market and buy it But a couple little herbs might be nice. I feel like those are the types of things you can start a little later in the season, though. Especially if you buy them like already sprouted from the store. We've had herbs before. What did we have one year? We were growing rosemary one year, and it was just like a bush. There was so much of it. I was like, what the hell am I doing with all this? I don't even remember. I mean, most of it just went to flower and seed and then wasn't any good for cooking with. It was fun to see. All right. All of these herbs are just going to get tossed with the potatoes. A cedar planter at Costco, made in Canada. We love that. $150. Plus, you have to buy seeds and seasonings. Now, you probably for $150. I don't know, but I guess I'm saying soil. Yes, it costs your soul. You might though, if you're getting into canning and cooking and like pickles and stuff. Like I feel that those often have herbs in them. I don't know. If there's a bunch of components that you can use over again and it's just like the seeds and seedlings that you need to purchase the next year, that feels like it could be nice. Chapstick Queen, tonight is chicken, is an easy dinner. I would say this is essentially a meat and vegetable farmer's market dinner that we're doing tonight. Nothing complicated. We're roasting a whole chicken. I'm making smashed potatoes. This is the most complicated thing we're making today is smashed potatoes. So I'm making these. We're going to make some croutons, some mushrooms that are just going to be roasted, and then, and then a little bit of sauteed spinach. Easy. Sage won't die. These herbs, broccoli, the ones that I had were definitely not going to survive. They're in a planter. So they were not in the ground at all. And I always feel like the stuff that's in the planter, it just dries out. It dries out immediately. Like it can't put down any actual roots and then, any like meaningful roots to stave off any type of like dry time. So if we don't water them, which I don't reliably water the plants on the roof, because I don't go on the roof reliably. I forget about it. If we don't go up there and water them, they die basically instantly. Jamie, I hope so too. This bread is great. This is multi-grain sourdough that I got at the farmer's market 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago. I froze it initially, so it's older. It's older than it's been. It's older than. If it had been in the fridge the whole time, it wouldn't be any more good. I'll tell you that. But it was frozen for a while. It's been in the fridge for long enough now that I'm like, I gotta use it. I gotta get it. I gotta do something with it. So we're gonna make croutons today. And we'll put those on the sheet pan with the chicken. I'll move the chicken off of that sheet pan. We'll just toss the bread chunks with the fat from the chicken on the pan. I'll add a little bit of extra butter because it's probably, or a little bit of extra olive oil. Sorry, not butter. A little bit of extra olive oil because it's probably not going to be quite enough to coat all of this. And then we'll toss it back in the oven for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. We'll bump the oven up to like 475, like super hot. And then we'll kind of toss all that together again. I'm going to use my 2 larger bowls here. I'll put the potatoes in that one. I'm going to put the croutons in here because what I think I'm going to do is dump the fat out off of that sheet pan and mix it in the bowl, and then we'll just put it back on the sheet pan. That's a better option. Chastity Queen says, I've been on the veggies and meat kick quite heavily lately. Lots and lots of various salads. Excellent. Nice bone-in pork chops with a Greek marinade. Salads sound great. I love a salad. It's salad season. About to be salad season. We're having I should be able to get back to the farmer's market this weekend. I have not been able to go for the past 2 weeks. We had a karate tournament 2 weeks ago, and last week Calvin and I were camping. So we had not gotten to our farmer's market in 3 weeks now, which is, I like when I have a Saturday that I get to go to the farmer's market because it tells me a lot about like the rest of my weekend too, which is kind of nice. Feeling the draw to make sourdough, I approve and encourage. I've never made a starter, so I'd be interested to see how that process works. I have never actually made bread. I've never made sourdough. During COVID, when everybody got into bread making, I did not. I was just like cooking away during that time. Basically, during COVID, I was doing all the same stuff I do on stream, just like not with a camera. The only thing that's really changed is that I have a camera now and I'm speaking out loud instead of in my head. And that was before COVID, to be fair. So I've always sort of been, I just like the cooking side of things, but I never got into like the bread. Bread always felt like a science to me. It felt like I'd have to like experiment, and I didn't always want to do that. I just kind of wanted to like cook and sort of wing it, supposedly, for lack of a better term. Broccoli, if you get a ridiculous blend of herbs, you dry it upside down and strip off the leaves. Makes sense. Do you store it after that? What do you do with it? Okay, timer just went off. What was that timer for? That timer was for the chicken. Let's temp the chicken. It's definitely not done yet, but we'll figure out how far along it is. Chastity Queen says, I can't wait to check out Quincy Market in Boston in June. That's exciting. It's fun. It's definitely a fun spot. I've been. I hope you have a good time. I don't have a lot of Boston recommendations anymore. I used to, but I haven't been in that area I've been out of that area for long enough that everything has changed now. Bronco says, I have an elderly diabetic cat named Monica and I should have renamed her Trouble. Aw. We love an elderly diabetic cat. Support I hope Monica is well loved. I feel like Monica is probably well loved. Lemon says, I strongly dislike commercial bread and don't want to pay artisan prices. I am the artisan. I am the artisan now. Yes. No, I get that. I get that. Because bread is not cheap. Especially if you get like good bread from somewhere. All right, I'm at 119 in the upper part of the breast, which is definitely not cooked. I'm at where am I down here? I'm at 163 in the outer thigh. So to say that this cooks slightly unevenly or to say that it cooks more evenly when it's spatchcocked is to say that the thigh will still be done first. All right, so the breast is going. I'm going to give that another 15 minutes or so because I don't really care if the thighs are overdone because like they're chicken thighs. You can't actually overcook them. You can, but it's not the same as when you overcook chicken breasts. So we're going to give those another 15 minutes and then we'll get the breast should be done. We're at 100 degrees. We're at like 1 something for the breast right now. So, you know, I want those to be up a lot higher than that. But because the oven is hot and like it's, you know, basically it doesn't, it's like it'll get hotter quicker at this point. I don't know the science behind that, but I do know that that's true. Chester Queen says, sorry, I already have quite an itinerary. I love it. How long are you in Boston for? What's your, is it like a quick itinerary or are you sort of like long forming it? Beardo Bread is a good bread Bible. He's been accused of stealing recipes, but recipes are not copyrightable. Yeah, they're not copyrightable, but if you like take the entire recipe and change like 2 words without changing any significant ingredients or methodology, that's when people get upset. You have to change something about a recipe. You can't just be like, this is mine now. I guess you can. I mean, you can technically, but like most publications would not, if they found that out, they would not want you to continue writing for them. The thigh can take over cooking. Yeah, exactly. I don't give a damn about the thighs. When I cook chicken thighs in the oven, I literally just toss them in the oven at whatever temperature the oven's at. If the oven's at like 450, I'm like, great, they'll cook quicker. And I usually just leave them in there for 20 minutes, no matter what. Boneless, skinless chicken thighs, 20 minutes in the oven at 450, no problem. Those things come out 250 degrees on the inside, and you know what? They're still amazing. So it doesn't really matter. We have our crouton situation here. I have my mushrooms also ready to go in. I'm going to toss those in to roast on sheet pan. What am I going to put those in? Now let's put those in this container. We're going to roast these in this pan. Easy. Okay, we'll roast those in there. Chicken's coming along. This is for finishing. Okay, let's cook these potatoes in the pan. That's what we can do now. Because once those potatoes are finished cooking, then I should be able to turn the oven down. If not immediately after they're done, just shortly thereafter, I should be able to turn the oven down, and then we can start holding things in the oven on warm. Potatoes, chicken. No, sorry, I'll have to roast the mushrooms after that, but that's fine. You know what? Let's put the mushrooms in now. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put the mushrooms in now because those will finish roughly the same time as the chicken, and then I can just drop the temp. No. And I can't drop the temp of the oven because I want to cook the croutons, but I don't want the mushrooms and croutons to be at the same temperature. So we're going to cook the mushrooms now. We're going to throw the mushrooms in now. A little olive oil, salt, pepper. We'll roast those until they're finished. Those will come out with the chicken. And then we'll bump the oven up for the croutons. When the croutons are done, we'll put everything back in the oven and keep it warm. Okay, cool. Thanks for bearing with me as I talk through that, the cadence of things. It's all about oven management. I don't want to turn the oven up and down and up and down. Lemon says, you can't republish a well-known recipe and expect people not to notice. Right. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's not ethically wrong and certainly creatively lazy. Yes. Yeah, and giving credit is what most people do. Like if you look at bloggers, or even like, I think about this in Bon Appetit all the time, right? Bon Appetit does this constantly. And Epicurious, like they will be like, here's a recipe that one of their writers will write about it, right? So they'll have like a staff writer at Bon Appetit who'll be like, you know, this is a great recipe I found. This is the exact scenario for that pistachio tart, right, that I made. That pistachio tart came from a cookbook that was by two different people. And the article that I found with that pistachio tart recipe, and it was not by either one of them, it was by a staff writer at Epicurious. They basically said, they took this recipe and they were like, here's a recipe, here's who it's from, here's why I like it, please enjoy. And they cited who the recipe was. Like, and I think that if you're a food blogger or someone who's independent, like that is fine. Like you know, if you want to get more eyes on your blog by publishing someone else's recipe that's already out on the internet, give them credit for it. Give them a backlink. You know, your recipe will get discovered and your blog will get discovered and their recipe will gain authority according to the parlance of the internet because it has a backlink coming to it. Anyway, you definitely can't change. If you change something substantial, right? You add a couple ingredients, you change the cooking methodology, you've made it your own in some meaningful capacity, then you can say this is my recipe, right? Broccoli says, the thing is with baking, I rarely follow a recipe completely. If I want to add a pinch or a allspice, I will. If I don't have enough walnuts, right, toss in whatever I've got. And that's just the sign of someone who's comfortable cooking. That's not, you know, that's like, hey, I know how to make substitutes. I can do this. It's good. I swiped right from the New York Times. Exactly. And someone who's like sort of steeped in those recipe writing cultures is going to find that. And it makes it, you know, the way the internet is if you take all you need to do is take one full sentence from your recipe, put it into Google with quotes on the end of it. And if someone else, you know, if you're stealing someone's recipe, that thing is going to come up. It's easy. Lemon says, the recipe development class I took gave an informal guideline that you must change at least 3 major parts of recipe to call it yours. Yes. Yeah. I'm of the same opinion. Whenever I'm looking for a new recipe, if I want to make my own, right? And this is one like for that chicken pot. I wrote a recipe for chicken pot pie months ago. My pan is hot. Great. Chicken pot pie, like literally months ago. And I did some research on 6 different pot pie recipes, right? Like timing, ingredients, methodology, all of that. And I synthesized those into what I had personally already done. And then I tested it. And it was different. It was different than all of those other recipes in several foundational ways. So that was fine. That was now my recipe. That's how recipe development works. Like, it's not a secret. Like, that's it. That's literally it. That's what everybody does since time immemorial. Unless you're making something brand new that's just never been like done before, which is kind of rare. You know, if you're making something brand new, that's different. Broccoli says, my recipe for a simple pizza dough is from Tyler Florence, and I don't pretend it's mine. Oh, I know, exactly. My recipe comes from Joe Badia's Keep Pizza Camp book, and I follow it to the letter. Exactly. Every time. The focaccia bread recipe I make, while the toppings change and all of the differences, everything else, the foundational recipe is from Alexandra Stafford on her blog, and it's just called the best, easiest focaccia bread recipe. And you know what? If she took it from someone else, I don't know that, but I will give her credit for it because it's not a recipe that I'm using. Okay, let's come over to the pan. Let's come over to the pan here. Your favorite recipe? Yes, all the time when you make focaccia. It's a good one. It's a really good recipe. It works. It just works really easily. It's like perfect. Which is kind of why I like it. Okay, here's the stove. We're gonna fry these potatoes. Let's get this camera up a little higher than it is. And I'm just gonna put some oil in this pan. This pan is very, very hot already. I'm gonna fry these in oil instead of butter. And we're just gonna add a few at a time here. And we're going to add these like in a ring, basically around the central burner. Yeah, Lemon says, even if you do change the parts, there's no downside to saying it's based on someone else's. There's no IP or claim to royalties. Exactly. I think if you take credit for someone else's work, it ruins the vibe. Right. I think for cooking, especially if your recipe uses a technique that is like well established as someone else's. So for example, you have like a specific method that someone like very clearly calls for in their very famous recipe for this very famous thing. If your recipe calls for like the exact same cooking methodology, then yeah, just be like, hey, this is the same methodology that you're going to get in, so-and-so's recipe. I love it and it works. And that's why we're using it here. Right? Like that's super easy to say. You're not taking away from your own skills and abilities and intelligence in that situation. You're adding value. If you claim it as your own, you're also just not like someone at some point is going to say, hey, this is so-and-so's recipe. Or like, how come you didn't cite this other person? Because what happens is if you're stealing someone's recipe and yours gets some traction, like it's going to be next to someone else's of the same recipe in the Google results. And like someone's going to figure it out. Some smarty's going to be like, hey, wait a second. Okay. Potatoes, when they're finished, are going to go in this bowl. Herbs are going to go on them. Before they go in that bowl, I'm just going to put them back on the sheet pan from whence they came. So these are still just like coming along. I'm going to bump these quite a bit. Cheese, welcome in, John. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Saw you were posting on Blue Sky recently. You're out and about in the city. I hope you're having a good one. Hope the weather treated you nicely this weekend. Cheese, please, fellow food and drink streamer / variety. I would say you're a variety streamer. Lots of food, mainly food, but you do a variety of things. I was just thinking, John says about how sometimes I see the same wording across recipes. And you don't, it's like, hey, did this person steal this? Or is it just that's how you describe sauteing an onion. Like, how many ways can you describe the same thing? Like, using the same language to describe an action, like a cooking type action, is a little different than taking someone's entire methodology. Froggy says, even if I substitute avocado for olive oil in my pizza dough, I won't claim the recipe as my own. Yeah, and that's the type of thing where, like, you shouldn't claim that as your own. Like, that type of adjustment is an adjustment that the author could have easily put in, like, the recipe notes for that one recipe. The recipe notes don't generally include something like, cook this an entirely different way, right? Which is the type of change we're talking about. Levin says, this happened where an Asian creator I follow posted a chocolate rice pudding recipe, and it got colonized by a bigger non-person of color creator and went viral. Very annoying. They were like, I saw this on TikTok, and you could have made a note of who made it. Exactly, Lemon. That person has every right, and they're well within their, it's fully normal to be like, hey, I saw this recipe and it was great, and now I'm making it. Right? Yes, but the part where you make no attribution to the place that you got it from is harmful, especially if the place you got it from is someone smaller than you in the sense of, like, your digital footprint, right? Kind of choose to do a bit of anything I'm interested in. I love that. I think that's what makes, I bet you that's what keeps it fun for you. I know for me, that's what keeps it fun. These smell like French fries. So good. Yeah, geez, exactly. Like, if you were basing a recipe, I get so weird. I get so like confused when people don't cite their sources or don't attribute to anything else, because it's like, what are you trying to prove to me? Are you trying to prove that, like, you are smart enough to, like, have thought of this and cooked it yourself? Like, I don't care about that. Yeah, like, I don't care about that at all. I don't need you to be, like, the best chef out there making all these unique recipes. Just tell me where you got it from. We all use the same internet, right? Woma, welcome in. Stealing, even though it's legal, doesn't mean no one is harmed. No, exactly. I look for that. Like, I definitely, when I'm writing something down as a recipe that I'm going to submit to be published somewhere, it's super important that I don't do. I never use ChatGPT for anything, or any of those AI stuff. Like, I never use AI anything for any writing that I'm ever doing, because it's not helpful. It's not helpful, and it takes away from my own voice. So that's kind of how it goes. But recipe writing is fun because, as we said, you are certainly able to be like, hey, I changed these couple things in this recipe. I changed 2 ingredients and a methodology, and now it's fundamentally a different recipe than the one I'm basing it off of. Now that's your recipe. Should you still cite the one that you based it off of? Probably. Are you like, is it okay if you don't? Technically, yes. You should just cite your sources. If you're using a primary source to develop a recipe, just say that's what you're doing. If someone cares, then they're the ones that are the problem. What do you mean you didn't come up with this roasted potato recipe yourself? Like, bro, it's roasted potatoes. What do you mean? You can't. They've been reinvented so many times. You didn't do this first. Krem, thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate you. It's good to see you. Angry Rook, hello. You should cite me for making the recipe better. Well, Mrs. True. Broccoli, that's exactly how I end up making a lot of things. If I make something on stream, I will often have looked at 2 to 3 primary sources for how to make this specific type of dish that I want to make. And I won't print those out. I won't have them available for reference. I will make notes in my notebook that are like, you know, cook for roughly 20 minutes at this temperature. Like that kind of note, happy to take that kind of note. But I otherwise will make it my own, and I may end up making it pretty similarly to the way the recipe says, but it's only because, like, you know, that was how it should be made, because the recipe made sense. Smashed potatoes are coming around. They're going all right. I need to turn this pan up a little bit, and I need to turn the exhaust fan on. So we're doing some smashed potatoes. We have chicken in the oven. I need to temp that chicken. My timer just went off a second ago, so let's do that now. It's looking a little bit better than the last time. So let's check in the breast here. I'm at I got 153 as my low, 168 as I pull out. I'm getting 156, 155, 154. Okay, so chicken needs about 5 more minutes in the oven. And then these potatoes are coming around. So once we're finished with the potatoes, and the mushrooms are in the oven too, they're just kind of roasting away. I am basically just going to turn the oven off when the chicken is done, and the mushrooms will be done to the point that they're at. Mushrooms roast pretty quick. Earthy potato salad, Chapstick Queen. These would be great for potato salad. You could totally just cool these down and eat these smashed potatoes for potato salad too. They'd be really good. We're not going to actually toss these. I said earlier that I was going to like toss these in a bowl. I am not going to toss them. We're going to gently stir them because these are a little bit more fragile than they can be sometimes. Broccoli, sometimes, yeah. It's amazing. You're amazed how many chefs screw up something as basic as a crab cake or French onion soup. Yeah, putting your own spin on it is not always a good idea. It doesn't always make it the best. Often, not often, but sometimes it might make it like weird. And weird is not what we're looking for. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of like a rack here because these have some drying out to do. Funfetti crab cakes. Oh my god. Nope. Yeah, see, that's just like an idea that's best left alone. But I bet if you Google funfetti crab cakes, you might find someone out there who's very enthusiastic. It's not me. But maybe somebody. Okay, potatoes are looking good. We're gonna add a little more oil to this pan and turn it down just a touch because we're smoking hot now. And we're gonna add our second and final round of potatoes in here. I've only got I only have a few of these. Whoop. I'm gonna get a smoke alarm alert in a second or two. We are smoky. It's totally okay. Don't mind that at all. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to these now that they're finished. It's for my April Fools. It's you. You're the funfetti crab cake. Crab cake lover. Oh, Velos, a spring bar 10 by 14 canvas tent. Hell yeah! Congratulations. That's amazing. I love that. And let me just vacuum the lint trap in your dryer. Listen, it's all of your achievements are valid and notable. I particularly I love a canvas tent. Yeah, no fires in the lint trap. God damn. All the things that you didn't know you had to worry about as an adult. What do you mean I got to empty the lint trap? What do you mean if I don't empty the lint trap, my house might catch on fire? Why didn't someone tell me this before I turned 18? Oh, Cheese, see, Cheese, you're so creative. This is what I'm talking about. I love your streams where you're just like, I'm throwing it together, we're gonna do it. Here's a bunch of shit you didn't know went together, but it does. Like that type of thinking. Confetti crab cakes or rainbows of peppers, like shut up. That's super creative. Don't shut up. I love it. Like shut up. You know, that kind of anyway. That's really clever. I love that. I really love that. Clearing my phone of extra photos. God, don't they have a thing that does that for you? Isn't there like a thing now in Apple that does like duplicates? Muesli cereal and oatmeal raisin cookies. Yeah. Yeah, because you're adding what? You're adding fruit to that. The chopped dried fruit is the sort of additional component. That's cool. Also creative. Yeah, Bellis, and I think getting a large tent like that's like, you know, it's kind of a pain in the ass to set up, but like it'll do you right on multiple types of weather. That's a good move. Because you're like, hey, we can take the tent camping if it's pouring rain. You know, I have a different tent that I take when I'm expecting rain versus when I'm not. I'd love just like a large single pole canvas tent that you stake out with tie downs. That would be amazing. My jokes are my best ideas. Well, that was a good one, I'll tell you. All right, that was 5 minutes on the chicken. Chicken should be finished at this point. Let me take the temp one more time. Just make sure we're right in the zone we need to be. Before I do that, let me give these mushrooms a little toss here. Mushrooms look great. Mushrooms are like ready to eat right now. All right, and chicken is out of the oven. Chicken is out of the oven. Let me temp this situation. Let's get in on the breast here. 160. We got 160s all the way through. Perfect. 170, okay, 165, perfect. All right, we're good. We're good all the way through. I don't need to temp the thighs. The thighs were ready 25 minutes ago. We're good. All right, pause. Let's take the potatoes off the stove. We're gonna toss the fat from the chicken in with the croutons. We're gonna put the croutons on a tray and we'll put a tray in the oven. Once we're done that, we're going to take a quick break. So come on back over to the stove. All right, these look good. These look good. We're ready to go here. I'm going to turn this off. You know what? Before we turn this off, or though we have turned this off, before we move away from this pan, we're going to saute my spinach. It's going to do that right now while this pan is hot, and I don't need to make any adjustments. The spinach is going to saute in approximately, what do we think? 15 seconds? 20 seconds? Damn it, I can't get my kitchen drawer closed. It's going to take me longer to move the damn ladle than it will to cook all this spinach. All right, there we go. Yeah, Velas, you're right. The tent will last forever. The hardware probably may not. The tent you can patch. The nice thing about a tent like that is even if it gets a couple holes in it, you can just patch it right up. All right. Whoop. Get back there. All right. We're just going to take this. My pan is off right now. This pan has been off for a few seconds. So for a minute or so. But it's cast iron, so we got the residual. Full residual heat here. Let me get a little bowl to put those in. A very little bowl. Yes, but you can just see them shrinking and getting smaller. If you watch one leaf for any amount of time, you can like literally see it happening. It's so cool. Okay. Good. Spinach is sauteed. Easy. Yeah, we do that before the pan cools down. That way I don't need to turn this pan back on later, which I would have needed to. And I would have done. Ow! That was hot oil on my hand! Fuck, that hurt! Okay. Good. Alright, spinach is finished. Potatoes are roughly finished. Let's come back over to here. We're going to take the liquid from the chicken tray and we're going to put the liquid into the pan. Pause. I'm going to take the chicken itself. Hold on. Take the chicken itself and put that onto this cutting board.
I'm in danger.
To rest. Softy, welcome in. Yeah, Cyborg, I definitely just put a whole drop of hot oil directly onto my hand from the pan. It's going to be a nice little like single spot on my hand. So we got chicken schmaltz, chicken fat essentially. Emptying off of this pan. And we're mixing it in with these pieces of sourdough and brioche, just some leftover breads. This pan is still hot, so we're keeping it in the towel. Okay, now this is wiped off. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to this pan, or to this, just to get full saturation here. And we're making croutons with this. So the goal is to get all the liquid mixed in and absorbed and coat these croutons in that chicken fat. I'm going to take just a little bit of these herbs that I set aside for my potatoes. I'm just going to take a few of those and toss those in here. Not a ton, but just like a little bit more oil. All right, these look great. Croutons ready to go in. Hell yeah, Lemon. You're getting it done today. You're definitely getting it done. That's impressive. What did I do today? I didn't do anything productive around the house. I changed the laundry over. That was it. That was the productive thing I did. Shit, I need a larger tray. That's okay. Need a larger tray. Larger tray, more croutons. Good problem to have. I like to do it on the same tray because it's got this like same tray vibes, right? Like the chicken fat vibes are already like imbued on this tray, but if we can't, we can't, and that's okay too. I do want them to spread out in a single layer. The single layer is the more important aspect of this, so I could not do that on that last tray. All right. Here we go. Roughly a single layer. I don't have to be completely in a single layer. They just can't be like stacked up 2 to 3 high. There we go. All right. Good. croutons, about to go in the oven. Before I do that, I need to take the mushrooms out of the oven, and I need to bump the oven to 450. That will get these nice and crispy. It'll take about 15, maybe 20 minutes or so in the oven like that. All right, chicken is here. Chicken is resting. Let's recap. We have in the oven right now croutons. They need to be in the oven for 15 minutes. Or no, let's stop. Let's set a timer for 10 minutes. Because the oven is still also coming up to the temperature I set it at. Okay, so 10 minutes on the croutons in the oven. The smashed potatoes are finished. They are here and ready to go. I need to toss these with a couple of herbs, or put these in a bowl with some herbs. So let's do that now. So we could just, actually, I can just toss those. All right. There's our smashed potatoes with a little bit of finishing salt. And when the croutons are finished, these are going to go in the oven to stay warm. When the croutons are finished, the mushrooms are going to go in the oven to stay warm. The spinach is going to go in the oven to stay warm. And then the chicken is just resting for a few moments. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to organize the dishes. And when we come back, I'm going to cut up the chicken. We'll get that to the point where it's ready to serve some pieces of it and ready to store the rest of it for later in the week. We'll put the pieces that are going to get served in the oven on a plate. And from there, I'll start on the focaccia. Gwen and Calvin he is finished at school. They are most assuredly at the playground right now. So if I finish dinner a little early today, we're just going to end a little early. So just a heads up. I see it's about 18:13 right now. Usually we end about an hour from now. I think we're still going to be about on that time schedule, just like a heads up. Speaking of heads up, though, we have an ad that's going to start here in about 20 seconds. We're going to play a quick game of words on stream. Hey, Broccoli, thank you for the bits. Appreciate you. We're going to do a quick game of words on stream here. Here comes a game of words. Here comes a 3-minute ad. I'm going to handle the dishes and we'll be right back.
Hi. Welcome to another edition of Commercials I Hate.
Amazing. All right, chicken's there. Herbs are here. I can turn my exhaust fan off. My pan is on the back of the stove. I don't need that anymore. Let's take, do I need to season anything else? I do not. Oh, I needed to season the croutons with some salt. Do I need to season them with some salt? Yeah, I'm going to put, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to open the oven real quick. Shh. Don't tell people who aren't subscribers. We're gonna open the oven real quick. I'm just gonna pinch and put a little salt on the top of these, and then when I stir them up, maybe we'll do another one. I'll probably forget, but that's okay. We're just gonna salt one side of those just a little bit. I think there was plenty of salt in the chicken, and the butter that I used on there was obviously salted butter, so it should be fine. But always good to salt just a little additionals. Okay, let's get some of this into. Let's get some of this into the dishwasher. If I can. Actually, no, some of this can't go in the dishwasher. Shouldn't go in the dishwasher. Spatulas, etc. cannot go in the dishwasher. We'll do the dishes that we can in the time that we have. That can go in the dishwasher. Hey, damn, y'all! You're crushing the puzzles today. Like, just dominance. Jamie, we got you on the next one. Here it comes. vacuuming. It's like spring cleaning in here. Lemon's doing the air filters. Jamie's vacuuming. What did I miss? I missed like a memo. I missed like a memorandum of some kind. It's spring. Get yourself together. Cossacks. What a good word. Minecraft. Very nice. I tried to play Minecraft once. I was so confused I gave up. I see Calvin. He plays Roblox, so he doesn't play Minecraft. Well, no. I don't, maybe Minecraft is too something or something. But I'm generally like not a gamer, so like I generally don't like any game I play. Very, very, very infrequent that I enjoy playing a game. Hey, if you're on Twitch, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. Ads aren't everyone's cup of tea, but you got to do them, so we do them. And I'm finishing up washing some dishes. Looks like we finished the game. Let's come on back. Let's come on back over here. Hold on. Carry the one. Click, 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 click. All right. Perfect. Tiny screen makes it super tricky. Yeah, the tiny screen when playing Words is almost like not worth it, because it's just like, in addition to being extra small on the screen, it's like extra small. Okay, so croutons are in the oven. They have 4 minutes left on the initial pass. I'm gonna cut this chicken up. So basically, we're gonna do legs and thighs tonight. If you want chicken, you can have a leg, or you can have a thigh. Pick one. Just gonna cut those up. I'm putting these on the ones for dinner on a plate. And we'll toss these back in the oven. The rest of this, I might cut up some breast meat today, just in case. But Calvin usually has a leg, Gwen usually has a thigh, I usually have one of each. And then that's like dinner. James says, I run my cordless vacuum every evening. It's all hardwood flooring with 3 shedding dogs. Hell yeah. Sounds like you need a Roomba. Sounds like a Roomba would be like the move that just like sneaks out after dinner and does all of its chores. Pick the breast option. This chicken smells really good, and it's super soft at the moment. I just squeezed it. I just like pressed down on here, and some of that like herb mix just like squeezed out of the outside of it. Oh, so good. All right, let's take the skin. So underneath of this chicken, between the skin and the meat, I put butter, dried dill, onion powder, and garlic bouillon. The Better Than Bouillon garlic style bouillon. So that's what is seasoning this. So I'm just going to take one of these breasts off. Now this is, okay, where I'm at now, this is super hot. This cooled down only for a few minutes here before I like got into it. So I'm not really holding this with much pressure. I'm sort of letting the knife do the work, as they say, because it is extremely hot. Okay, and we got a chicken breast ready to go. So the rest of this meat, I'm going to take off, and I'm going to put in a container right now, straight away. I'm not going to seal it yet because I don't want it to steam.
But I'm going to take the meat and put as much meat as I can get off of here in just a holding container. And then we'll take the carcass and we'll put it in the bag in the fridge. And then the bones, I'll have everybody not eat off the bones. I'll just have them pick the chicken off, and we'll, if people can agree not to pick the chicken meat off the bones and eat it that way, then I'll use the bones from the legs and thighs as well. And if I forget, which is the more likely scenario, we'll just use the body carcass from here. Okay, timer's going off for those croutons. I gotta check those. Rinse my hands here. Seasoned for enchiladas, Broccoli says, yeah, got those famous chicken enchiladas. Liz, chicken salad always sounds good with me. And grapes and pecan, grapes are my preferred chicken salad to add in. Oh, Jamie, it does ruin your day to do that. I'm sorry. That sounds really annoying. I hate burning my mouth or my tongue because it just lasts for like days. You just have this like weird patch in your mouth where you can't feel anything anymore. And you're like, what happened? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, these look phenomenal. Okay, let's flip these over, and we're gonna give these another like 5 minutes, because this side I've got some nice crispiness on the top here, and once I get the rest of these, once I get this flipped and the other side gets crispy, we'll be good to go. But these they smell amazing. I love how differently they cook when you use real chicken fat as opposed to just using butter or olive oil. Which I usually, if I have a bunch of leftover bread that's sort of like got a day or two left on it and I make croutons, I almost always just use butter and olive oil, and they cook differently when you're using actual fat. So some of these have a nice like crispy side to them, like that side is crispy and this side is still very soft. So this side was up. Amazing. It was so good. All right, I'm gonna salt. I'm gonna give like a little sprinkle of salt to the top of these. I said this right after the ad started a little bit ago, but I did not salt these before I put them in. The chicken was salted. And the butter that I used was salted butter. So they were pretty good already. Very good already, in fact. All right. There we go. Croutons going back in the oven. Just a few more minutes. Oven's at 450 for these. So let's give those 6 more minutes. What did I give them last time? 10? Okay, we'll give them 6. That should be plenty. Baker says, I have a wonderful habit of biting in potato wedges right out of the oven. I know. Me too. They are like, they're hard to say no to, truly. They're always hotter on the inside than I want them to be. The first potato wedge that you eat, like no matter what, you're always just like, you always have that moment. Like no matter when, unless you like wait an amount of time that like a reasonable person is not able to wait before trying a potato wedge. If you have the capacity to wait long enough to try a potato wedge until it's like room temperature, I don't even know. Like you should just be in charge of everything with that kind of self-control. That's my hot take. All right. We're de-meating this chicken. And I'm going to take the carcass and put it in my freezer bag, which I so recently established earlier today with the spine, the chicken spine, after we spatchcocked it. All right, so this is going Meat is good. Off of there, off of there. I'll get the wings. Can't forget the wings. Take the meat off the wings. There's nothing like a steamy little tater though. I mean, that's the thing. You got to try it when it's hot out of the oven. That's how you know it's done. You got to do the ha-cha-cha thing. And then it's legit. Then it's real. It's the sound you make when you bite into something with lava inside of it. Now, all of this little pile is just going to go into the stock bag. Beautiful. All right, now all this meat is just going to be for Thursday. I'm going to do a focaccia, and I'm thinking what I wanted to do, those chicken sandwiches that I had over the weekend were very good. They're pesto with cheese and fried onions. That's what we're going to do for a focaccia. Because I'm like, hey, I wonder if this will make a good focaccia bread. I think it will. So we have a little bit of pesto left over. This is still pesto from the last week, from the trip prep. Let me wash my hands here. We still have a little pesto. We have a little pesto left over from the trip itself. So I'm going to do that, plus this chicken, plus some Havarti cheese. We'll fry up some onions to go in there. And then I'll probably put some like herbs on top of that too. So it's going to be sort of like a pesto chicken focaccia bread as well. I've been on a pesto kick recently, ever since starting out. So wrong side. Ever since starting out on my pistachio journey, pesto is like back in favor now. Not that it ever went out of favor, but it's like the perfect season for it. And now we're doing more pistachio. I'm just doing more pistachio stuff. So pesto has an increased importance. All right, the bag that I just filled is for stock. So I have a spine and some bones in here, and we'll make chicken stock out of this at some point. I'm not, I don't know when, maybe Thursday, maybe not. We'll see, but there it is. That's going in the freezer. This is just chicken, like loose chicken, ready to go for our Thursday adventure. I get a lid for that chicken. And I'm not going to put it in the fridge yet because I want it to like cool just a little bit more. And I don't know if I'm going to end up... Oh, shoot. I just unplugged my other camera. Whoops. That'll probably never work again. It laughs awkwardly. Yeah, this is for Thursday. And then this chicken is for tonight. I'm going to put that in the oven to keep warm in just a moment here. As soon as I get those croutons out, which should be imminently. We have 1 minute left on the clock. And then that'll be done. And then we're going to make focaccia dough. So in advance of doing that, I need to turn my hot water kettle on because I need lukewarm water. It has a very specific recipe for lukewarm water that it gives you, which is like kind of funny. And also like I've followed it every time because otherwise I'm like afraid that I'm going to do it wrong and it's not going to turn out the same way as it did the last time because the time before that I followed it, right? That's how it works. Okay, let's check those croutons. They've been in there for an additional amount of time now. I love when you return to the flavor vibe. It's always fun. Yeah, it's definitely a good, like, we're returning to pesto. That's how it goes. Does the stove camera work? I unplugged it. Let's see. Nope. Okay, that's fine. Watch. Stove cam. Nope. I'm going to try something real quick. Let's go all the way down. I'm putting it in studio mode. You can't see what's happening on the back end, but we're gonna restart this camera because I feel like, am I gonna need this camera again? I don't remember.
Stove. There we go. Sources. Off. On. Nope. Let's make sure this is... Oh, hold on. There we go. It works again. We fixed it. Hi-oh. Amazing. Great. I also don't want that on the screen. Perfect. Remember when people used to buy Tupperware? Nowadays we wash out and save Chinese food takeout containers if they're not cardboard or styrofoam. This is true, Broccoli. Do you all have a favorite place to get takeout from because you like their containers? I do. I know the place that's got the real good containers, and we order from them often enough that I haven't bought Tupperware and I haven't bought plastic containers in a long time. Like, that is very true. All right, croutons look great. These are good. I want these to be 5 minutes crispier. Some of them are finished. Yeah, some of them are finished. Some of them are crispier. I'd rather have a few burnt ones and a few perfect ones than no perfect ones and a few that are underdone. Uncommon, I'm glad you like the Food Photos channel. The display is that it is set up as a forum channel as opposed to a threaded discussion, as opposed to a topical channel. So the forum channels basically allow you to create separate threads. And the reason that the Food Photos is set up like that is because historically there were folks who were like asking about things like, hey, you posted this thing, what's the recipe for it? And then there was like discussion about it. And that was happening in the Photos channel. And so I changed it to the forum so that the discussion can happen underneath of the photo as opposed to like in the channel itself. Does that make sense? Anyway, little historical. I don't remember when I made that change. It was definitely like well over a year ago. I did not set a new timer for those. Let's set a timer for 4 minutes. It's not a new feature. It's just, it's not one that gets used. Oftentimes the forum style channel is used for like support or like Q&A, stuff like that. It's not usually used for what I'm using it for. Broccoli says the best containers are from the Vietnamese place around here. Second best is a tie between Indian and Chinese. The best containers that we get come from when we order Indian. When we order Indian food, for sure. For sure, the best containers. All right, let's do this. Make the dough in a large bowl, whisk together the flour, salt, and instant yeast. Can definitely do that. I know that for this focaccia recipe, this bowl is my perfect bowl. This bowl is my perfect bowl because this bowl comes with a lid. It's from Pampered Chef, which we love. Not really. I don't really care too much, whatever, about Pampered Chef either way, but like, you know, people love it. But regardless, it's easy because it has a lid and you're supposed to cover the focaccia dough, and I don't need to do that with anything but the lid. It says to mix together your flour, all-purpose or bread flour. I don't think I've ever used bread flour, but I need 512 grams. Which you know what, y'all? I don't have 512 grams of flour. Let's look in the cabinet real quick. Because I might have additional flour.
I'm in danger.
Oh, no, I do. Hold on. No, I do. I'm just, okay. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, I do have more flour. It's also all-purpose flour. I also got it at the same place. $512 grams. 512. Beautiful. Yeah, Baker, we can't run out of flour. We don't run out of, I rarely run out of flour. It's happened before, but I will see now that I'm using this is like the extra bag. Now that I've tapped into the reserve flour, I'm immediately going to buy more. Lizzie, welcome in. Welcome in. I usually buy 5 pounds of it, 5 to 10 pounds of it at a time in bulk from the head nut. I don't know what brand it is, if it's like a whatever. I have no idea what, it's just all-purpose flour. I have no idea where it comes from or what kind of, what brand, or I'm positive it's not organic. If it was organic, it would cost a lot more. Okay. Flour is good. Flour is all back in the cabinet. Crisis averted. Okay, croutons are finished. I can smell them. I don't need a timer to tell me that they're done. So let's do this. We're going to open the oven. I'm going to open the oven a crack to let the heat start to dissipate from out of there. And I'm going to put all my other stuff back in. We've got mushrooms. We've got spinach. We've got potatoes, all just going to go back in the oven, and they're going to sit there in the oven with the door cracked open just a little bit and stay warm. Timer's going off. Stop that. Move this. Finish this. Okay. 512 grams of flour on it. 10 grams of salt. 10 grams of kosher salt. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grams of kosher salt. 8 grams of instant yeast, 2 teaspoons. That's basically 1 packet, right? 7, it says a packet is 7 grams. Great. Okay, well, let's just dump this packet in and we'll see how we get. Brocky says, used to laugh at recipes that called for cake flour when AP is fine. You scoop out 1 tablespoon per cup and fluff it up with the sifter. The sifter is a classic move. 4, 5, 6, 7. I only ever sift my flour if it calls for it. Okay, now this calls, I'm in a quandary because this calls for 8 grams of instant yeast. I have 6 in there. That was 1 whole packet. I feel like that's okay. What is this? No, that's not it. I'm gonna put 8 because I'm a rule follower, and here's what happens. I usually have a little leftover packet, right? I usually have a little leftover packet that was from the last time, and that's where I almost always get the 8 from. 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay. Now, next time, which won't be too long from now, we'll have a packet of instant yeast already available. Baker says I'll be fine with that amount as long as it's fresh or golden. Sure. I'm sure I would be fine with that amount. I just kind of like to... I like to have it exact since I've always kind of made it the same way. I want to put this chicken back in the oven too. Keep this warm. That's the other thing I want to do. I'm going to take out the croutons actually for just a few minutes.
Just like a minute or two. What the hell is sizzling in here? Oh, right. The mushrooms are sizzling. The mushrooms are sizzling because they are in an aluminum tray that I put on top of a pizza stone, and so the heat is being conducted appropriately. Okay, that's good. Everything's good. Everything's good. Nothing is bad. Okay. In a large bowl, whisk together the flour, salt, and instant yeast. Done. Add the water. Using a spatula, mix until the liquid is absorbed and the ingredients form a sticky dough ball. Rub the surface of the dough lightly with olive oil. Cover the bowl with a damp tea towel, cloth bowl cover, or plastic wrap, and place it in the refrigerator immediately for at least 12 hours. Okay, so we're going to whisk this together. We're going to add our hot water. I'm going to stir that together with a spatula, and then we're going to pop it in the fridge, and that's all we're going to do for it today. And then the next time we get this, next time we touch this, is going to be when I take it out of the bowl and zhuzh it all nicely into a pan. Now, water, it says I need 2 cups of lukewarm water, 1.5 cups of boiling water, sorry, half cup of boiling water with 1.5 cups of cold water. So let's do 1.5 cups of cold water straight out of the fridge. We'll get the boiling water in just a moment, which I so thoughtfully and mindfully boiled in the kettle just moments ago. There we go. 1.25. We got 2. Okay. And now up to 2 cups hot boiling water. Good. Now with a spatula, we mix this into the focaccia, and then this will be ready to go. Ready to go. Until it forms a sticky dough ball, it says. And that is true. It will definitely do that. And it'll be really wet. This is a very wet dough to start. I believe we say high hydration. I also love this glass bowl because I can see you can still see the bottom. And I can see whether or not it's fully mixed in. All right, so using a spatula, mix until the liquid is absorbed and the ingredients form a sticky dough ball. Right. Darla says, hi, I subscribed again on YouTube the other day and it still says 1 hour or longer. I don't know why it would do that, honestly. I know with YouTube chat, also if you're on YouTube, hello, welcome. With YouTube chat, I do have it, you're right, I do have it set up that you have to be following for a specific amount of time. I believe it's an hour before you can chat. I don't know why it would reset that on you, honestly. I'm sorry that it did. I do not know why. YouTube is still kind of a mystery to me. Not in terms of consuming it, but as a creator, I think there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. Taken forever to post my post. In Discord, if you included a link with your post in Discord, it may not post it. There's some pretty stringent rules in the Discord about what links can and can't get posted. It keeps spam at bay, because we do get a lot of spammers that sign up, but it also occasionally will do a weird, like, someone who's been in the Discord for a long time trying to post someone normal. Kaylee, hello. Kaylee on YouTube, welcome in. Testing. I see your message. That one worked. That one worked. Yeah, Baker, Discord just updated
Just updated recently too. They just had like a big UI update. So it could be, I don't know. I can't pretend to know that I know the answer to any of the reasons why things happen like that. I can often tell you why something didn't happen if it was like based on the rules and got caught up in a filter or something. But here we are. So this looks good. This is definitely a sticky dough ball. We're ready to pop this in the fridge. Again, this is going to go in the fridge for 48 hours. It says in the directions on the website now it says 48 hours. Initially, when I made this, it was only 24, but you know, maybe they left it in there and nothing bad happened and now it's nice. All right, but I do want to coat this with some olive oil. Basically just like rub oil over the top of this. It's not super necessary to do the way because of like I'm covering it, so it shouldn't dry out. But the olive oil just helps it stay moist within the bowl. It helps it keep it keeps liquid from evaporating. Is what the olive oil does, and so it keeps the dough hydrated. You also cook it with like a ton of olive oil in it too, so it's ultimately there's just a lot of olive oil that ends up going into this thing. All right, so this is ready. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know why YouTube specifically isn't working for you in this moment. That is an odd. Maybe if you. The only thing I could think of is if you like resubscribed the other day and it hasn't like yet been an hour across both days. That's my only thought contribution to the exercise. Okay, focaccia dough is good, ready to go. I'm gonna pop that in the fridge. By tomorrow, let's do a fun little thing. We're gonna put a little piece of tape on here where the dough started today, and tomorrow it'll be all the way out to the lid, but at least we'll know where it started. Okay, so let's see. We'll do. Where is the level of the dough? Not the oil, the dough. Okay. That's where the dough is, roughly, depending on how you look at it. This will be for Thursday. We'll check on this. I'll check on it tomorrow, but this will be ready to go on Thursday. We're just gonna like quite literally let it sit. It's gonna stay there, and it'll be good. Okay, I think I'm ready to put some dinner on a plate. A little earlier today than usual. Good. Gwen and Calvin are still at the playground. They haven't even come home yet. If I'm at this point, I am doing great. I did not think I would get through that in that amount of time, but here we are. So let's put some food on a plate. A little earlier, quite a bit earlier than usual. Wow. I'm definitely earlier than usual. Sorry if I'm gonna finish a little earlier too, because that's just how it goes. I don't have anything else to do today. I don't have anything else in the kitchen today, unless you want to see me wash a bunch of sheet pans and put them in the oven dry, and then forget about them until Thursday, which is probably not that great. But if I was Calvin's age, I'd be hungry by 7. He is definitely they're definitely still just at the playground. I have location on here. Let's see where they are. Confirming. Yep. Very, very much at the playground. Okay. That's fine. Like I said, dinner is in the oven and we can hold it hot today. So it's not any problem at all. Don't tempt us with what you wash and then forget sheet pans. I believe you.
I believe you, Baker. I do. I always forget the sheet pans. I put all of the stuff that can go in the oven after I've dried it. Like when I do the dishes, I'll put all the sheet pans in the oven and I'll turn it back on and I'll set a timer for like 10 minutes. And that's how I dry them out. My mom had eyes in the back of her head. No need for GPS. True, Broccoli. It does help though for certainty. Uncommon. I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it worked. We've fixed the glitch. Okay. What plate do I want to use? Let's use. These. I like to call these picnic plates because they remind me of picnic style colorway, like a picnic style colorway. Anyway, we'll use these for dinner today. Should be pretty easy. Marianne, hello. Hello, Marianne. You're so close to 100 check-ins. You're so close to 100. We had 100 today. We had a 100th check-in today. Looks like we're gonna have one pretty soon here too. So close. What is that? Oh, one of the gibbets fell out of my crock. Okay, I'll just stick that back in wherever. There we go. Okay, back in. All right, I'm going to take one of the thighs, as I said I would. I'm going to take a couple of these mushrooms. Now, Gwen's not going to eat these. Full stop. Won't touch them. So these are just between Calvin and I. So I'm going to take about half of these. Because I'm not going to save these either. They're not good for lunches. They don't keep very well for the next day. That's for sure. Save him some of those. Whoop, that was my thumb. Okay. Same thing for the spinach. Let's take a little bit of this. Now, everyone will eat the spinach, so I can't take all of it. But let's get a little bit of spinach. And potatoes. The edge of that bowl was hot. You see me pull my hand away? I never pull my hand away from something so fast. Not a burn, just very close to one. And then I grab the bowl with my hand as I put it back in the oven. No, I didn't do that. And then the last thing is going to be a couple of these croutons. This pan should be good. All right. And just a couple croutons. Nothing wild. Instead of bread and butter, croutons. Classic, right? Just like your mother used to serve. Take just a little pinch of herbs and put it over the croutons and potatoes just so we have a little liveliness to those. And then we've got dinner. There's dinner. Hold on. That's probably a better angle. There we go. There it is. I'll show it to you from overhead. Broccoli says, I'm not quite old enough to remember party lines for phones, but I do remember being tutored about how to answer the phone. Hello, this is so-and-so. With whom would you like to speak? Yeah. Hello, Lou speaking. I remember that too. This is dinner tonight. Dinner tonight is farmer's market dinner. I just went and bought all the stuff at the market today except the bread. We roasted a whole chicken with some garlic butter. These are roasted cremini mushrooms, sauteed spinach, smashed fingerling potatoes, and then croutons with a bit of leftover multigrain sourdough bread and the fat from the chicken. That's dinner. And hopefully it tastes good too. That's also the goal. Not usually the expectation, but it's a goal. Let's see.
I'm gonna have a little piece of the chicken here because I'm pretty sure that's gonna be my favorite part of this. Oh my God. Yep. That chicken's great. It's salty. The garlic bouillon made a huge difference in there. I can taste it, but it's not overwhelming. That might be some of the better chicken I've made. There's like the right amount of butter on there. Not too much. Mushrooms are literally roasted mushrooms. There's nothing easier than just roasting mushrooms. I put them in there whole. I'm eating them whole. I season them with salt, pepper, and olive oil. That's it. And they're great. The croutons might give me a problem because my incisors are brittle. They're not super tough. They're crunchy on the outside. Oh. The potato is hot. Lesson learned. Should have fried those potatoes in butter. They're a little bit bland. They're not bad, but they're bland. I mean, I definitely salted them. So what's missing? Butter. Fine. It's fine. They're pretty good. I mean, I'm going to eat them. I know, the steamy tater was like... sneaky, because they've been out of the oven and like thought they were just warm. Oh, croutons are great. The croutons are crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside, like soft and chewy. Those are so good. I'm glad I made a ton of those because they're just bread. I'm gonna eat a lot of that. I'm gonna eat a lot of those croutons. Those will be gone in like 2 days. Like that whole tray of croutons. Because I eat them out of the fridge. They're great when they're cold. And they're great when you're like standing there deciding what else you want to eat. Right, when it's snack time and you're like, oh no, I can't decide. And you're like, I guess I'll just stand here and eat croutons until something else better comes along. Honestly. Which is, you know, I'm not proud of, but is a real true fact about how I live my life. Okay, where should we go today? We're gonna raid. We're also going to be live again on Thursday. On Thursday, we'll be back probably a little earlier than today. Feeling like I'll probably be on, I want to say like 2 p.m. Eastern instead of 3. Today I was on it like just a little bit after 3. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll probably be on a little earlier than that. And if I am going to be on a little earlier than that, I'm going to update the menu. No, I'm going to update in Discord. So there'll be a post in Discord in the schedule and announcements channel. That's going to be for whatever timing adjustments we have. So if that's of interest to you and you like those kinds of updates, please feel free to join the Discord. You can also, that channel is also an announcements channel. So if you like don't want to have it in your, you don't want to have to go to the Discord all the time to look at the schedule, you can take the announcements channel and put it in your queue wherever it makes sense for you. At the human. Okay, let's find somewhere to go today though. I'm thinking we keep it in food and drink. I'm looking to see around who is in food and drink. Let's raid someone new. Let's raid a brand new streamer. I don't actually know if he's brand new or how new he is, but I will tell you that he has been live for 12 minutes today. I will tell you that he is an LGBTQIA friendly streamer. His tags include ADHD, Backseat Gaming Allowed, English, Positivity, Gaming, Baking, and South Asian. We're going to raid Bav Bakes, B-H-A-V. Bav was in chat just last week saying hi, coming through. It looks like Bav, B-A-W-V, pronounced Bav, is baking a red velvet cake today. And he's got
It's got a lot of eggs out there on the counter. But we won't egg shame anybody. But we're gonna go see Bob Bakes. Please go hang out. Please go give him a follow. He's relatively, I believe relatively new food and drink streamer. But has come through before. I followed him recently. I'm sure he would appreciate a follow from all of y'all lovely people. And if you don't have time to chat or say hi, that's okay too. I'm sure Bob would appreciate the lurk. Baker says, dude makes some amazing baked goodies and has a cute puppy named Bentley. Great. We love a cute puppy. And I support all of that. So Fluff, thank you for the sub raid messages in chat. There are some social media links in chat as well. If you want to use the goodbye sounds, they're now available in the Channel Point rewards. You can also type command bye in chat. Thanks for hanging out on Thursday. A little bit about Thursday this week. We're going to do Focaccia. I believe I'm also going to try to finalize hopefully, ideally, the cantaloupe ice cream. It turned out really well. Some tweaks that I need to make, obviously, on the just procedural tweaks, not recipe tweaks, I don't think. So we might try to do that again on Thursday. Regardless, we're going to make Focaccia bread. We make all this stuff, for Focaccia. And that'll be Thursday. We'll probably start, like I said, around 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. I appreciate it. It was really good to see you. I hope you had a lovely one. And if I don't see you on Thursday for stream,
Goodbye.
I'll see you in chat. All right. Let's get out of here. Let's go say hi to Bob. Bye.